Chapter 61:10. Just for a moment, nothing was seen, and it was over. But to Xinjian, tens of thousands of years had passed. In the fantasy, he saw Yan Shuang and Ji Tang getting married, and he was powerless to stop it. Later, he found out that his poison was framed by Yan Shuang, but at that time Ji Tang had already given birth to a son and a daughter to Yan Shuang. He had no intention of taking revenge, and was depressed and unhappy all day. Later he came across a painting, picked up a short sword, riding a skinny horse, started looking for the place in the painting where he met Jian Wushuang. After completing his studies, he exposed Yan Shuang's ugly face and set a challenge. Scenes in the illusion flashed before Xinjian's eyes. Very real. So much so that there were tears in the corners of his eyes. Master! This time, Xinjian knelt down to Jian Wushuang. Xinjian, remember, the sword must face the heart. Jian Wushuang clenched his fist and tapped lightly on his chest, praising, "This time, you did a good job." Ji Tang didn't know what happened. Just as he was about to speak, he was embraced by Xinjian, and he didn't let go for a long time. As for Yan Shuang, from the beginning to the end, she stood there with her eyes blank. Only Jian Wushuang cares about his life and death, and now he is refining the body of the other party's reincarnation. Although he made a whetstone for others, Jian Wushuang did not treat him badly. A big family reincarnated in the original universe will also achieve something in the future. But he has wiped the other party's memory. This memory can also be regarded as the black history of Jian Wushuang, and naturally it must be erased. Give you a stick of incense, prepare well, and go out later, but there is still a big battle waiting for you. Jian Wushuang reminded and took Lu Hua away from the back mountain. Go back to the wooden house and wait for the two to say goodbye here. As long as the two can enter the top 1,000, this cave world can give them. Since I don't have anything to do with me, I'll leave first, just to go to the outside world to watch this trial. Lu Hua got up and said goodbye. Jian Wushuang asked, "Aren't you going to say goodbye? There will be another chance to meet in the future. It is the easiest thing for you and me to spend a long time." Lu Hua was quite enlightened to see through everything in the world. After speaking, he dissipated on his own and returned to the deity. Kill time. Fighting against Jian Wushuang is not an easy task. When he saw Xinjian, he had the desire to cultivate. When everything is done, it is time to retreat and attack the 8 Tribulations realm. And there was one more thing he didn't do. That is the beast soldier. Just one more piece to come. According to his original idea, he was preparing to collect the divine beast soldiers when he went to the Realm King continent. But he didn't know where the last one was. I asked the Realm King and the other party couldn't find it. That means it is not in the northern time and space. Or entered the abyss of the end of the tour. If you really go into the abyss, you won't be able to find it. There is also a small chance of entering the king's continent. It depends on his luck. The time for a stick of incense quickly passed. Xinjian and Ji Tang arrived on time. The 2 tokens are put away, and there are all the things you think of on them. He threw out 2 tokens at will. It is a trial token refined by true spirit. Regarding the trial, there is also an introduction to the Qi Shrine. Of course, he also added a lot. It is information about Ji Tang's identity. Remember, don't force it. Jian Wushuang explained one last time. Ji Tang and Xinjian each nodded. However, there are a lot of colors in his eyes. That is the yearning for the big world. Jian Wushuang is most familiar with this feeling. This is always the case every time I receive something new. If he knew the Realm King, he couldn't leave the northern dimension. After obtaining the Realm King's order, I am afraid that it is similar to the 2 of them. This is what he lacks now. Power. Travel to another world power. After taking a deep look, he tore apart the space, wrapped the 2 with his mind power, and disappeared in this cave world. Go to a bigger and more mysterious world for Xinjian and Ji Tang. There are also places that make Ji Tang sad. In her token, Jian Wushuang told her mother in detail why her mother died. That's what motivates him. When it reappeared, Jian Wushuang had disappeared, and Xinjian and Ji Tang appeared in the square. Except for Jian Wushuang and Jinling, no one knows their identities. Swish. Consciousness returned to the deity. Jian Wushuang turned his head and nodded towards the true spirit. Ready to start. If he hadn't delayed for a while, the trial would have started long ago. The true spirit took a deep breath and shouted loudly like a bell. The trial officially begins now, and the teleportation will begin after 3 breaths. In addition to the Tianjiao in the square, the plundered Yenxian from the outside world also heard the voice of the true spirit. The billion Yenxian who received the token has long understood what to face next. No one is afraid. Some are just fighting. Whether it is the arrogance of the sect family, or the outstanding people who have been plundered, they are not afraid of fighting. Teleport. True spirit's thought force moved. 1 billion Yenxian instantly arrived in a canyon in the trial world. Essie. 1 billion Yenxian was gathered together. Just stunned for a moment, the cry of killing shattered the entire canyon. On the viewing platform, many people secretly scolded Jinling for being too in. As a result, many extremely talented Yenxian are likely to be besieged. This is the loss of fairness. Especially the arrogance of those families, all treasures soaring to the sky. At first glance, they are carrying strange treasures, and they are definitely the targets of siege. Many Tianjiao in Yenxian fell into the contact battle. Most of them are the arrogance of the major families. Directly besieged by tens of thousands of Yenxian, the treasures were all shattered. If he hadn't actively shouted to give up being rescued by the emperor, he would definitely have fallen. After giving up, the token also fell. Seeing the token, the battle goes on. From the initial contact battle to the subsequent battle for tokens, there has been no end. There are also some lucky ones, who have long since taken the opportunity to slip away on the edge of the valley. Among them are Xun Jian and Ji Tang. Although he has the will to fight to the sky, the feeling of being besieged by others is not good. Moreover, the two of them are too lazy to do things like collecting tokens. It's better to wait for others to collect almost, and then go out to find those super geniuses. A happy battle last time. The battle in the canyon lasted for several months before it gradually calmed down. There are fewer and fewer people. Everyone knows that fighting in the canyon will not give full play to the advantages. But there are also those who can kill the quartet. For example, the super genius of Wanjia. One person shakes 10,000 immortals. Just one person defeated hundreds of thousands of Yenxian. Currently ranked first. This makes Wanjia Patriarch extremely proud. I feel that this junior has not been cultivated in vain. The displayed combat power has indeed caused many Cosmos Masters to reveal their amazed eyes. With such combat power and talent, even if there is no such trial, he can still apprentice to the Lord of the Universe. Chapter 6111. But because of this trial, more Tianjiao will rise. There will also be many such superheroes. During the first 3 years of the trial, the battle was the most intense. But the viewing is also relatively low. It seems intense, but it is also inferior. There is no place for too much ice. Jian Wushuang's thoughts are scattered, but he has a goal in his heart. He also has good people. In addition to Xun Jian and Ji Tang, there are several little guys who use swords, and their talents are very good. It is much stronger than when he was in Yenxian, and even some Yangxians have cultivated the ultimate way to the Mahayana realm, which is already comparable to ordinary Daojun. Among the top group, Jian Wushuang only saw one person. A girl who mastered the moon sword. Now it has defeated 1,000,000 Yenxian. Getting into the top 1,000 is a sure thing. Although on average, as long as you collect 1,000,000 tokens, you can enter the top 1,000. But among these immortals, the most inferior in the outside world are the best, and many of them are geniuses in one world or the universe. How can they stop because they have enough tokens? And before entering the trial, the ancestors of the family, or the elders of the sect, have all explained. Collecting tokens is only the first step. The most important thing is to be bright. Let the big guys on the stage remember themselves. That counts as success. TSK, the number 1 Wanshan has collected tens of millions of tokens, and now there are still hundreds of thousands of surviving testers in this Fangdongshan, and the distance of 1,000 people is coming soon. Do you think he can finally collect hundreds of millions of tokens? Junling saw that everyone was a little bored, so he talked about the strongest tester in this trial. Wanshan's performance, in fact, in the eyes of Jian Wushuang and others, is not dazzling, because Wanshan has cultivated his ultimate way to the Mahayana realm. Although he is Yenxian, his own Dao is very close to Daojun. In such a state, dealing with those trialists who have just mastered the ultimate way is to crush. Hundreds of millions of tokens are not difficult for Wanshan. The hard part is how to hunt down those testers who escaped. His strength is really good. Hundreds of millions of tokens can be collected as long as there is enough time. However, his way is a bit special. He is said to be the ultimate way, but he does not have the kind of cohesion. One Dao opened, and it is more stable than the original Wanxing, one step at a time, walking fast and walking steadily. Wu Zhuo commented indifferently that although Wanshan's strength was good, it was not suitable for him. In the eyes of these people, being fast and steady is just the foundation. What I really want is a pure heart. For example, the Ji Yi of the Ji family can only rank in the top 20 in strength among the testers. But her Taoism is extremely complete, but Yenxian can maintain her original intention and not be disturbed by the outside world. Many people have cast admiring glances at this Jijia Tianjiao. The same is true for Jian Wushuang, but unfortunately the opponent's sword is not the same as his Tao. If you really want to choose, it depends on the pursuit of the Tao. Otherwise, bringing it to him would be a waste of the opponent's talent. Brother Wu's was said that, "This Wanshan is quite suitable for me to go to the door." Shang Wenyan smiled, and he practiced steadily. He was the first ultimate emperor of the original universe, the first catastrophe in the entire downstream spacetime, and the first master of the universe. Walk fast and walk steadily. It was him. Don't look at being surpassed by Jian Wushuang and others now. But over the years, his strength has been approaching Wu Zhuo and others. It is not far from the 8 tribulations realm. Never stopped. It also made Wu Zhuo and others feel a little nervous. Those who went to the upstream time and space were all the inheritors of the realm king, or the opportunities given them were far from comparable to Shang, but now Shang is gradually catching up. It was a response to what Wu's was said at the beginning. People who go to the upstream time and space are not as good as the merchants who stick to the Qi temple, and it is shameful to say it. Now it is also the first time that Shang took the initiative to throw an olive branch to the testers. People are not hiding and tucking away. They all said what they liked. Before it was time to pick, they were already arguing. They're all robbing people. Even Hui Qing, who has always been honest and mild-tempered, blushed and had a thick neck. Because this time he also has someone he likes. It is a golden body art, from the world of Tongtian Buddha. Although there is no Tongtian Buddha in the current Tongtian Buddha realm. But the boundless Buddha at the time has become the master of the universe in the 5 Kalpas realm. Now he is the first Buddha Lord of Tongtian Buddha realm. Hui Qing walked the way of heaven and only kept the Buddha body. Tongtian Buddha incarnates the heavenless demon lord. In the end, the infinite Buddha one. Win the Tongtian Buddha realm, and also win the Tongtian Buddha. This Arhat is not the way of heaven, and his temper is not very good. If you don't understand it, it is the world-honored Xitigarbha. You are not the same as you at all, why don't you give it to me? It is Wu Tian who is competing with Hui Qing. He felt that the golden body of Arhat had a demon in his heart. It is more suitable to fall into the endless hell. Hui Qing took a deep breath, did not give in at all, and said firmly, "He will choose me, the devil can be eliminated." This remark made Wu Tian speechless. In fact, at their level, there is no longer any distinction between righteous and demons. The crowd quarreled for a long time. Didn't come up with a result. In the end it still depends on how those testers choose. He simply stopped arguing and began to think about how to prescribe the right medicine. Well, Wu Zhuo turned his head and glanced at Jian Wushuang, and found that Jian Wushuang had not spoken from the beginning to the end, and asked a little curiously, "Brother Wushuang, don't you miss any of them?" Wu Zhuo's words also attracted the attention of others, and they all looked at Jian Wushuang. Only then did I realize that Jian Wushuang had never spoken. You may not like the ones I like. The only Shiyue that compares 2 eyes is also reserved by you. Jian Wushuang smiled bitterly. There are actually many things in his heart, seeing that each of those Yenxian is stronger than himself at the beginning. Suddenly times have changed, just like those immortals in the upstream time and space. When I went there, I was also taken aback, and in the blink of an eye, the downstream time and space also caught up with the upstream time and space at the level of Yenxian. Next, they will cultivate more powerful Daijins to catch up with the upstream time and space. Even the Emperor has caught up with the pace of the upstream time and space. That's what he's going to do. Therefore, they have too much pursuit for the choice of apprentices. Even if you lose, it doesn't matter if you go to get the treasure. Just treat it as a good deed and leave something for the Qishan Temple. I went to the Realm King continent, and I don't know when I want to come back. They don't even know about Zamas. More pressure is behind it. Just like the testers. The current trial is just the beginning. The bigger tests are in the back. Everyone felt that something was wrong with him today, but they couldn't understand why. In the trial world, the battle continues. The performances of Ji Tang and Xin Jian are not outstanding. Chapter 61:12. Despite Lu Hua's teachings, compared with the arrogance of the Cosmos Master family, they have already lost a lot in the initial stage. Neither of them are in the top 10,000. One thing is important. That is, they grow faster in battle. Coming out of a small world, he quickly followed the pace of those geniuses. Even in the talent of fighting, it surpassed the opponent. That's where it's worth paying attention. It's a pity that Wu Zhua and the others couldn't see these small details. There is no clear standard for the trial time. 100 years have passed in the blink of an eye. Hundreds of thousands of Yenxian, once again reduced by 100 times. Today there are only a few thousand. Ji Tang and Xinjian are still there. Still inconspicuous people. But no matter how inconspicuous, there are only a few thousand people left at this time, and they are also being targeted by some Cosmos Masters. Ji Tang, especially the head of the Ji family, only then did he realize that Ji Tang had the blood of the Ji family in his body. However, compared with Ji Yi and Ji Hao, it is still a lot worse. But to be able to persevere until now, it definitely has a talent beyond ordinary people. Even if he can't make it into the top 1,000 this time, he will bring Ji Tang back to the family to focus on training. It's just that he asked around, and all the side branches of the family didn't know that there was such a person. It's not a side branch, it's not a clan, it should be a bloodline that strays from the outside world. Ji family patriarch sighed with emotion. The bloodline that strays abroad has such talent. God treats my Ji family well. He immediately ordered the family to search for those bloodlines that flowed outside. Maybe there are people with excellent talent who must be brought back to the family as soon as possible. It's a shame to be outside. Ji family. From the early days of the original universe, it was a superpower. An early primordial cosmic overlord. Until now, it has been a superpower. Prosperous. It is because of the emergence of a superpowerful one by one. Starting from the first ancestor, the Fourth Order Emperor. In the later Ji Chaoyang, the background of the Ji family was raised to a new height again. It's a pity that it fell later, otherwise the current Ji family would be even stronger. Even now, there is Ji Shuang, a peak powerhouse of the Six Tribulations realm, in charge. In the entire downstream time and space, it is also the top 10 family. Moreover, the Ji family is also inextricably linked with the two masters Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing. You need people, and you need power and power. The background is also strong. Nature is timeless. Among the top 10 gods, there are very few family ties, and only Dongxing and Wanyan have family ties. Others, at most, cultivate some forces. Jian Wushuang is helpless. The place where he was born is gone. Became a lonely old man. This time, he accepted a few direct disciples, but also to leave his own way. As for the bloodline, I have long thought about it. Maybe meet the right person later. Probably not. On the tester's side, there are only the last few thousand people left. Everyone on the viewing platform also has suitable candidates. In the end, there should be very few violent species, and almost no one is hiding their strength. Now is the best chance to hit the top 1,000. Master Jinling, can you narrow down the scope of the trial? I'm almost falling asleep. Wu's would drooped his eyelids. Watched it for over 100 years. No matter how patient they are, they can't stand this torture. This is like an adult watching a child play a house. It feels fresh at first, but then gets tired. I already have a candidate in my heart, so I naturally want to end it as soon as possible. Zhenling scratched his head when he heard the words. Narrowing down the scope was actually very simple, but unfortunately he was not prepared. "It'll come." Jian Wushuang raised his hand and pointed out. A barrier fell. And it is constantly shrinking. Shrink from the edge of the world. Seeing this, the true spirit immediately sent a message to the tokens of the testers. The enchantment will continue to shrink until the last 1,000 people will stop. This is the last time. According to the shrinkage rate of the enchantment, at most 1 month. This made those testers who wanted to pick up the leaks to leak expressions of despair. Facing great temptation. Still someone took the shortcut. There are many testers who are not very strong, but they found a place to hide from the beginning. Just relying on good hiding, Go entered the top 10,000. You say he is wretched, it is not suitable. Being able to hide from being discovered all the time is a bit of a skill. But in terms of real combat power, they are very weak. Not to mention Jian Wushuang and the others, even the lords of the universe look down on these people. If you want to play tricks by stealing, it is impossible to be selected. Those trial people also understand this truth, but before entering the trial place, the family said that if they enter the top 1,000, even if they are not selected, they will be accepted as disciples by the Lord of the universe. So they all want to try their luck. But as the enchantment continued to shrink, all their luck was broken. A tester who had to show up was shattered by a sword as soon as he showed his head. Yuanshen could only admit defeat and save his life. It was also taken away by an emperor. But there are only dozens of tokens left. Which tester who came out with a sword didn't bother to pick it up and walked away. This kind of scene is being staged all over the world of trials. A month passed quickly. The enchantment has also been reduced to a range of 10,000 miles. In this range, Yangxian's thought power can be wrapped. There is nowhere to hide anymore. The number of people was also reduced by half. Now there are only over 1,000 people left. It only takes half a day to shrink to 1,000 people. This is also an opportunity for those testers who are ranked lower. If you can defeat a tester ranked in the top 1,000, you will be able to replace the opponent. Such an environment also made many testers red-eyed. There are even some testers who were originally in the top 1,000, but were besieged by 2 backward testers and eventually lost. Don't admit defeat even to death. Falling is impossible, and those emperors have already received the voice transmission of the true spirit. Some testers who are bound to fail will be taken away on their own initiative. No talent will be lost due to trials. Zhenling also spoke out, even if he did not enter the top 1,000, he would still be able to enter the Tomb God Mountain and become the inheritor of the Qi Temple. The inheritor of Qi Temple can be said to be the dream place of practitioners in the entire downstream time and space. Because now the top lords of the universe are the inheritors of the Tomb's sacred mountain. From the first generation to the current 3 generations of disciples, in each era, a large number of superpowers will emerge. And once you become an inheritor, your family or the power you are in will also rise with the tide. Heirs are also united. It can be said that as long as you become an inheritor, it proves that you have stepped into the upper level of the downstream time and space with 1 foot. As long as you become the master of the universe, you can entrust your universe to the sea of the universe. This is infinite glory. In the downstream space-time, in addition to the masters of the universe born among the inheritors, there are still some mist powerhouses who have become masters of the universe by themselves. Chapter 61:13. After all, resources are limited, and only elites are cultivated. Impossible to include everything. That's why we have to fight for the chance and fight for the ranking. The first 2,000 testers are guaranteed to become the inheritors of the Qi Temple. The first 10,000 testers will also enter the 4 great halls. Each has a bright future. This is what they are fighting for. However, the remaining testers are no longer satisfied with the inheritors. Instead, he wanted to become the direct disciple of the Lord of the 7 Tribulations realm universe. Practice the strongest way. In the trial world, within 1,000 miles, the sound of killing is everywhere. The number of people keeps decreasing. But there are also testers who started to riot at this time. For example, Xin Jian and Ji Tang. At this time, the power of the two broke out, and they can already enter the top 100. This made Jian Wushuang very happy. Prove that their speed of progress has not stopped because of the decrease in the number of people. According to this trend, it won't take long to surpass the people in front. Of course, which ranked first, Wanshan, is indeed too terrifying. Far beyond the realm of many testers. Any opponent he encountered would not be able to block his punch. Such a terrifying combat power that no one dared to approach him. Fortunately, Wanshan has collected 100 million tokens, and he is too lazy to bully those testers. With the elimination of the last person, the top 1,000 testers officially appeared. After a long bell rang, the surrounding enchantment also disappeared in an instant. 1,000 testers were also teleported to the center of the square. Next up is the ring battle. This is faster. And in the trial world, most of them have played against each other. The final ranking will not be much different. After a day of fighting in the ring, the final exclusion ranking was also similar to what was expected. The only bright spots are Ji Tang and Xin Jian. The two broke through one after another. Now Xin Jian ranks 19th and Ji Tang ranks 20th. Xin Jian is fine, he is silent and nameless. Ji Tang's performance shocked the head of the Ji family. Even Ji Shuang personally came over to inquire. Brother Ji, congratulations this time. There are 3 in your Ji family in the top 20 middle school. It's amazing. Many people congratulated. The head of the Ji family was also smiling, and this time it really gave him a long face. But when he transmitted his voice to Ji Tang, the other party ignored him at all. This made the Ji family's head very embarrassed. Fortunately, it is sound transmission. If you open your mouth to speak, and you are left aside, you will lose the adults. What's the matter? The Ji family took a deep breath, a little confused, turned to look at the emperor of the Ji family's dynasty beside him, and said in surprise, "Her bloodline knows you best, hurry up, give me a thought when you left it." If you enter the top 20, you will definitely become the direct disciple of the Lord of the Seven Tribulations realm universe. Future achievements are limitless and cannot be ignored. Don't return to JIS family in the end, but instead hate JIS family. It will not be worth the loss. Patriarch, you know me, so many juniors, I remember when I stayed. The Ji family's patriarch frowned. Mistake. He immediately asked Ji to talk to Ji Tang and try to win over. Once you become the direct disciple of those super strong people, it would be too deliberate to win over. It is only at this time that I can go up and climb some friendship. I won't have this chance in the future. Except these families recognize relatives. There are also some powerful masters of the universe who took the initiative to throw an olive branch. Thousands of people can't all be selected. And in addition to the 1,000 seed players, there are some who have been eliminated, but their strength is not weak. They also have good talents. These are all talents. And it is the superpower of the next era. As long as you survive, it is not difficult to become the master of the universe. Many people went to give tokens of their own accord. If not selected as a disciple, after entering the Tomb God Mountain, you can come under your own door. It's also a good way out. Some people who were not confident naturally accepted these tokens. But more people still want to be accepted as direct disciples by the super strong. On the viewing platform, Zhenling was gearing up, glanced at the crowd and said, "Let's start. I think you are also in a hurry. Start from the back, and each time 100 people come up. Start from the end." 100 trialists stepped onto the viewing platform one after another. In the square, they saw the Lord of the Universe under the viewing platform at most. When I entered the viewing platform, I witnessed the strongest group of existences in the downstream time and space. Even if they were Tianjiao in Tianjiao, they were still short of breath and nervous. Don't be afraid, little guys, this time it's you who choose the master, but I'll say the ugly thing first. You can choose first. If they don't agree, then you have to be selected. If you choose not to agree, you will also be selected when you are selected. If you don't get selected, Don't have any resentment in your heart. I will personally accept you into the tomb's sacred mountain and become the 4th-generation inheritor. 4th generation. It is also the beginning of the next time and space. They are the first batch, and the benefits naturally do not need to be said. Okay, let's get started. Jinling waved his hand and stopped talking. It's okay not to say it, but it made these testers even more nervous. First, let them choose not to be themselves in case they choose, and it will naturally be a little embarrassing to enter the door of other great powers when they are picked. Therefore, many testers are looking at Jian Wushuang and the others, and dare not speak easily. Wu Zue is the most chicken thief, and he specifically winks at the disciples who want it, leaking a posture that I will accept it if you come. For a time, many testers seem to be apprenticing to Wu Zue. Because of this, no one will be offended. Wu Zue, you are really shameless. Wu Tian frowned. If he was still a Buddha, he could still pull his face down, but after incarnating as a demon, his face was thinner than before. But still imitating Wu's was appearance, winking at those testers. Among the 100 testers at the end, there are actually only a dozen or so who are really admired. Jian Wushuang is the one who didn't like it. The Dao he left this time was actually reserved for 3 people. These 3 are still in the top 100. He is more stressed. Among the hundreds of testers, there are also more active ones. The ones who took the initiative were the geniuses from the big family and the sect. After entering the first 1,000, the ancestors of the sect or the family explain the details of the 18 superpowerful to them. The first choice is Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing, the superpowers who have learned from the upstream time and space. Then Shang and Luo. The rest is up to personal preference. In the 7 Tribulations realm, there is a huge difference between the combat power and the Dao. Naturally, I want to be the one with the strongest teacher. Therefore, in front of Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing, there were many testers. Jiangchen, you cultivated the way of thunder and mastered thunder's ultimate electric snake. You came to worship me as your teacher. You have found the wrong person. I will show you a way out. Jian Wushuang sent them away directly, but instead give their opinions one by one and let them change someone. They were all dismissed soon. Chapter 61:14. There are still a few good seedlings who came to him for apprenticeship. Soon the selection stage of the testers passed. Then convert to them to pick. Only Wu Zue went to pick 2 of them, and the others did not speak. Apparently it doesn't matter. 22 of the 100 finalists were selected. Mainly, Wu Zue received 5 by himself. There were 3 who came to apprentice, and I chose 2 more. It can be said that the comers are not refused. It has a rather educated look. Okay, those who are not selected, you can go to the square and wait, and you will be taken to the tomb's sacred mountain later. As for those who were selected, they naturally stood beside their master, and couldn't bear the excitement in their hearts. The first selection is over. The second batch came soon. This time Jian Wushuang is still indifferent, and he is also persuading those disciples who want to choose. Give it up to someone else. Wu Zue can be said to be open to all who come, as long as he chooses the basics. Others are more rigorous. Disciples are also their own inheritors. Naturally be cautious. Come up in batches. He and Hui Qing were the only ones who didn't choose. Several of Hui Qing's eyes were among the best. They are all waiting for the last batch of testers who are in the top 100. It's the last batch. If you 2 don't choose, you will automatically admit defeat. Jinling looked at him and Hui Qing and said indifferently, "Don't be too harsh, just accept it if it's pleasing to the eye, it may take time in the future. Not much more." Knowing what the other party wanted to say, Jian Wushuang just nodded silently. After waiting for the last batch to come on stage, he stretched his face. Just as Ji Tang and Xin Jian stepped onto the viewing platform, they saw Jian Wushuang. This was the first time they saw Jian Wushuang's deity. That kind of restrained sword intent makes the 2 yearn for it. In the stage of choosing a master, the 2 of them came directly to Jian Wushuang without any hesitation. Xin Jian, I would like to worship the senior as a teacher. Ji Tang, I would like to worship the senior as a teacher. This is the last batch. Many people are watching, especially the masters of the universe below. The head of the Ji family clenched his palms when he saw Ji Tang worshipping Jian Wushuang. Although Ji Yi was asked to contact the relationship, he couldn't ask the specific life experience, and he didn't give a good face. This is not a problem. As long as the blood of the Ji family flows, it will add prestige to the Ji family. Anyway, everyone knows that Ji Tang is Jis family, and that's enough. And now he is taking the initiative to apprentice Jian Wushuang, and he is using the sword again. This made the head of the Ji family very excited, looking forward to entering the gate of Jian Wushuang. Jis family has a relationship with Jian Wushuang Huiqing. If he enters Jian Wushuang's door, it can be said to be a kiss. For a while, in front of Jian Wushuang, several testers appeared again. Even Wan Shan, who was ranked first, took the initiative to apprentice Jian Wushuang. Ji Tang, Xinjian, you two stay. These two were originally cultivated by him and naturally stayed. Even Ji Tang and Xinjian thought it was normal. The head of the Ji family also stood up excitedly. In this trial, his Ji family received the most goods. Ji Yi, who had high hopes, failed to apprentice Jian Wushuang. But it doesn't matter anymore. It's enough for one person to enter the gate of Jian Wushuang. Why not me? Ji couldn't accept it. She ranked 9th and came from Jis family just like Ji Tang. Wan Shan was also a little disappointed after hearing the result. However, he is not the kind of person who can't put it down. He quickly recovered his expression and returned to his original position, waiting to be selected by other strong men. Jian Wushuang called Xinjian and Ji Tang to his side and said with a smile, "You will follow me to practice from now on. If you have anything you can't let go of, you can tell me." This was said to Ji Tang. Xinjian came from his cave heaven world. There was nothing he couldn't let go of. That cave heaven world could be handed over to the other party. However, Ji Tang has a lot of things to let go. It's because of the Ji family. However, it is not easy for him to come forward directly, and Ji Tang will need to face it alone in the future. After Xinjian heard his words, he shook his head blankly. Ji Tang hesitated for a moment, then slowly shook his head. Stubborn temper. Jian Wushuang just smiled indifferently and stopped talking. Except for the two he accepted, most of the others were open to all. Take it all. After all, they are the top 100 testers, so there is no reason to refuse. Even Huiqing accepted 4 in one go. Among them was the golden body of art. Still haunted by this. There is also a tester who uses a sword, ranking in the top 3. In fact, only weak Wan Shan. Which cold girl who cultivates the moon shadow sword. But she went to Luo's side. Jian Wushuang has no choice. Jian Xiu Xieyu mastered the ultimate way. And he has also cultivated to a very high level. If it is under his door, it is expected that the time and space will be recorded in Mahayana in the future. Pity. Jian Wushuang sighed lightly. Only 2 looked a little thin. He still has some doubts about his teaching ability. But the vision of seeing people is still there. 1 more must be chosen. But Jianxiu either he chose Luo. Luo did not refuse and accepted all the orders. The few sword cultivators he rejected were indeed inappropriate and inappropriate. Wan Shan. He took a deep breath, and another thought appeared in his heart. His super-ancient transformation is the ultimate secret method of divine power. Should also find an incoming one. Only this time he focused on Kendo. Divine power is not a Tao, it is more like an aggregator. Wan Shan has such potential. Looks like I'm going to prepare a unique skill that will never change. He laughed lightly in his heart, thinking that he had just rejected Wan Shan, and now he will choose. That's a competitor. Now that the screen turned, it was their turn to choose someone. Jian Wushuang didn't care about his face. Although he had just rejected Wan Shan, he was the first to stand up and said, "Wan Shan, are you willing to come to my door?" Yep. This sentence made everyone stunned. I didn't want Wan Shan just now, but now I am actively recruiting. Wushuang, you're going too far. Isn't this tricking us? That's right, didn't you agree that Wan Shan belongs to me? Shang was also a little depressed and wanted to win Wan Shan, because the other party's cultivation steps were very suitable for him. Wu's was snorted coldly and scolded, "When will it belong to you? I also said that they are all my apprentices." Then I will not hide it from you. My magical power secret method also needs to find a successor. If you think that my magical power can surpass my secret method, you can try it. Jian Wushuang sat back to his seat after speaking. Behind him, Ji Tang and Shen Jian looked at each other, and when they heard Jian Wushuang's magical power, they didn't quite understand. But other people know. Not only Wu Zua and the others know it, but even the lords of the universe below know a lot. At the beginning of the battle with the death. Chapter 61:15. Jian Wushuang's super eternity changes, but it amazes everyone. Unrivaled power. When the Wanjia patriarch heard the magical power secret method, he thought of the super ancient change and hurriedly sent a voice transmission to Wanshan. Don't hesitate, going to the first God Lord's door is the best choice in your life. Wanshan also took a deep breath, and the loss just now disappeared instantly. I do. He originally chose Jian Wushuang. Even if the owner doesn't say it, he will agree. Because he sees the trial, that is, he wants to apprentice Jian Wushuang. Worship the strongest person as a teacher. Become the strongest. Jian Wushuang was relieved when Wanshan agreed, and waved, You are my last disciple. Shen Jian was his first disciple in the Qi Temple. Then there is Ji Tang. Finally, Wanshan. Yes, master. Wanshan was excited with the joy of the rest of his life, and after saluting, he stood obediently behind Jian Wushuang. Ji Tang and Shen Jian also leaked smiles. After all, Jian Wushuang said that he was the last disciple. After that, the three of them are the closest people. For a long time to come, we will practice together. Naturally, get closer. Wanshan was also very polite to these two future brothers and sisters. Talk to each other. After accepting the last disciple, Jian Wushuang stopped looking at the others, waiting for this meeting to end. The Dharma body in the source is improving its own super eternity. When he used the super eternal transformation, his strength already had 700,000 divine powers. Although he was the emperor at that time, the myth he created in the emperor was rarely surpassed by later generations. It is difficult to surpass his record in Daojun. Not to mention the emperor period. So to improve. Otherwise, Wanshan would not be able to do it at all. Let's start from the eternal change. That was the unique skill that was obtained in the Three Kings' court. But it needs to be improved. Everlasting, everlasting, everlasting. Eternal change requires at least 200,000 divine powers to be able to use it. Eternal change is much simpler, and 50,000 divine powers can be used. When he was in Daojun, he had 50,000 divine powers, which was the limit of a cultivator. Wanshan can also do it, which is not too difficult. The requirements of the eternal change are lower, and the 10,000 times divine power can do it. As long as you can master the changes through the ages, the Daojun period is basically invincible. But this still can't get into Jian Wushuang's magic eye. Daojun exerts eternal change. The Emperor casts eternal change. Lord of the universe, then you have to use super eternal change. The secret skills and secret methods of divine power are the simplest, but also the most difficult. The trick is to fight. It is not difficult to enhance the divine power. Jian Wushuang can give Wanshan treasures, but not in vain piles of divine power. To achieve 10,000 divine power to defeat an opponent with 20,000 divine power, can the divine power be improved again? And so on, slowly accumulating divine power, will cultivate super strong. After Wanshan's cultivation plan was finalized, the external trial conference also came to an end. The top 100 testers were all selected. None were elected. Among the first 1,000 testers, more than 400 people were selected. On average, there are more than a dozen per person. However, Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing are the least. One has 3 and one has 4. Wu Zua had the most, and one person selected 100 disciples. This made the trialists who chose Wu Zua began to doubt life. There is so much competition. Besides, Wu Zua also had those 2 brushes, and his secret techniques at the peak were all learned from the Realm King. In the Emperor period, it is good to say that when it comes to the Master of the Universe, it is difficult to cultivate super strong people. But from Daojun to Dijuan, Everyone is the same, and they are very good at training. So don't be careless. The trial is over, then I will announce what happens after the trial. Zhenling cleared his throat and said, "Little guys, you may not know that the trial and apprenticeship is just the beginning. The road ahead is still long and bumpy. For you, the first hurdle is here. An era later, at that time, most of you will become Daojun. At that time, a Dao meeting in Qishan Temple will be held, and a competition will be held. At that time, you will represent your respective masters. If you lose, there will be no punishment for you, but for your teacher. It's not going to be any better, respect." Cough cough. Wu Zue felt that saying this would hurt his face, and it would put too much pressure on the disciples, so he said vaguely, "Let's not talk about punishment, let's talk about honor, and you will be the face of Qishan Temple in the future. Is also the super genius of the downstream time and space, so naturally we must carry the honor of the Qi Temple, we must aim at the path of the strong and don't slack off." The selected disciples were so excited that they all shouted, "Yes!" Not only what Wu Zue said, but also the teachings of the elders. The selected disciples are the arrogances of the major families. Many ancestors of the family saw that their descendants became disciples of legendary figures, and they were also very pleased. Remember, at the end of this road, you are the strongest. Work hard and follow the teacher's way. Don't let the family down. A sound of encouragement came one after another. These voices come from the family. Wu Zue's voice came from Qi Temple and even bigger places. For these little guys, the Qi Shrine is already huge, but they also yearn for the bigger world. Since there's nothing else to do, I'll go first. Wu Tian waved his hand, took the accepted disciple, and left directly. Wu Zue just wanted to say something, but seeing that everyone was in a hurry to leave, he simply didn't say anything and left this world with his own disciples. See you in an era. Jian Wushuang glanced at the crowd, also tore apart the space, and left with the 3 disciples. Speaking of which, he didn't even remove it. Wu Zue has its own power, Dao Palace, not to mention Shang and Luo. Wu Yan also has its own power. Dongsheng and Wanyan have their own families and a lot of territory. Huiqin can also go back to the heavenly Buddha realm. Emotions, I am the only one who has no foothold. With the 3 disciples, after leaving the Qi Temple, he glanced at the primordial universe. Although the power of origin is the strongest here, there are also the most practitioners. Not suitable for practice. Forget it, let's go to our own universe. His cosmic carrier, and in the source starry sky, the power is 10,000 times richer than the outside world. It is much more powerful than those secret realms in Qi Temple. Thinking of this, the 3 people were directly sent to Tianqing Mountain in the source universe with a single movement. There are very few practitioners who have entered his source or no. That's why Whis lived in his original universe for a period of time. Although some things have been removed, the general outline is still there. He arranged it at will. They came up with some cave houses and training grounds, as well as some treasures suitable for Daojun and Emperor to assist in the practice. These are all refined by him, which can be said to be unique. The 3 people who entered the source starry sky looked at the place in front of them that looked like a dream, and were extremely surprised. Chapter 61:16. Especially when I saw the huge starry sky, I was stunned for a while. When he reacted, he realized that a powerful force was around him and could be absorbed at will. Wan Shan, as the first arrogant of the Wanjia Yanxian, has a lot of knowledge and said excitedly, "Master, is this your origin universe?" "Not bad." Jian Wushuang nodded slightly and said, "In the next time, you will practice here for a while, and when you arrive at Dian Immortal, I will take you out once, and the plan will be discussed later. First teach the 3 of you a Faju, and when the Fujutsu is complete, come see me again." The way Jian Wushuang teaches his disciples is very simple. Progressive cycle. Never teach them too much at once. Everything takes time to hone. By the way, I found a sparring partner for you. He turned around and shouted at the arranged cave house, "Babata!" Swish. Babata in a dark red armor flew out of the cave, with a small body and a curved forehead, standing in front of him and said obediently, "Master." "It's called Babata. It's not life, but it can't be rude. In addition to accompany you, he will also point you to some things you don't understand, remember?" Wan Shan looked at Babata, who already had wisdom, and was a little shocked. He had only heard of some puppets in the Qi temple, with 7 orifices and exquisite hearts, but they could not cultivate. Unexpectedly, Master has a puppet who can cultivate Tao. Heart is very shocking. Ji Tang and Shen Jian didn't understand this. In their eyes, Jian Wushuang was omnipotent. "Remember." The 3 replied respectfully. Jian Wushuang nodded and said, "Babata, let them get acquainted with them first, and then you can practice on your own." "Yes." After the explanation, Jian Wushuang's figure flashed and disappeared in Tianqing Mountain, leaving behind Babata with 3 disciples. "Let's go." Babata leaked a smile. After the pyramid was shattered, he stayed alone in the sky, extremely boring. Now that he has company, he is in a good mood. Along the way, there was talk and laughter, and the 3 people were introduced to the special nature of Tianqing Mountain. Jian Wushuang took a deep look in the starry sky, then closed his eyes. "Leave your own way just for a back way." He also has a way to go. This era will still have some heart, but after an era when the Taoist meeting ends, he will completely stock up the 3. He will point out the way after Dao Jun, and leave the rest to them. No one will keep them safe from the wind and rain. Time shone through the temples. 10 years later, Wan Shan was the first person to complete the practice of the Fa Ju he taught. This is similar to what Jian Wushuang expected. After all, it's only 10 years. Even if Shen Jian and Ji Tang are talented, they can't surpass Wan Shan. Wan Shan. Jian Wushuang came in person and let Wan Shan fully demonstrate the magic. He is satisfied. It took 10 years to fully grasp it, and Wan Shan was the first person in the trial. Inheriting his divine power is really more appropriate. "Master, although I fully grasp the law you taught, I don't quite understand it." Wan Shan explained his doubts one by one. Read novel. Jian Wushuang admired this very much, nodded and said, "If you understand, it will be incredible." The law he taught Wan Shan was the route of his own divine power. If you don't explain it, the other party can't understand it for a lifetime, and can only master a useless law. His divine power roadmap, even the Lord of the 8 Tribulations realm universe, cannot be seen through. Not to mention an immortal little guy. This is my roadmap for divine power. Maybe you still don't understand divine power, because your physical body is not complete, and your divine body is also lacking, so you can't master divine power. Divine power? Wan Shan's eyes flashed. He heard it mentioned by the elders of the family. Only after the divine body has been multiplied can one master divine power. But his current divine body is only 1,000 times larger. Yen Xian has 1,000 times the divine body, which is already very good. When Jian Wushuang was in Yen Xian, he didn't have 1,000 times the divine body. Yes, it's divine power. Jian Wushuang raised his palm, exerted a little force, and a golden arc appeared, and then said, "Keep this arc away. It is what you will use in the next stage, and now I will refine your body for you." A majestic mountain appeared in the starry sky. He pointed a finger, and the mountain ignited flames. He has already moved the body that was refined by Moyan Mountain. The physical body is powerful, and it is only useful to the emperor. At the robbery realm, the flesh is immortal. So it doesn't have to be good, but it can't be bad either. 9 training is necessary. Even if it takes 10 refinements, it is too difficult for the current Wan Shan. At the beginning, he was only after the 9th rank, and only 10 times, and he almost fell. Go, after refining the flesh, go to absorb that trace of golden arc. I will give you 1,000 years, and come see me after you are done. Without any hesitation, Wan Shan nodded and said, "Yes." After speaking, he directly entered the burning Vulcan Mountain. The Tao cannot be preached lightly. Wan Shan, as a child of the Wan family, could not stop. I also know the master's intentions. First lay the foundation, then go to practice to accept the inheritance. Take it step by step. Don't be in a hurry. It fits Wan Shan's character very well. It is also because of this that Shang went to compete for Wanshan. This is a pure cultivator, which is too rare. Jian Wushuang also likes it more and more. After arranging follow-up plans for Wanshan, he closed his eyes again to practice. 100 years later, Shen Jian also mastered the law. However, the law he masters is different from Wanshan. Wanshan is taking the route of divine power. Shen Jian is the ultimate swordsman. The foundation of Kendo is the mastery of the way. In the following time, he personally instructed Wanshan's Kendo. It also did not directly teach the other party any magical skills. Ji Tang was the last one to master the law. Wanshan's body has been refined until Ji Tang has successfully mastered the law. It's not that the opponent's comprehension is poor. It's a matter of talent. Among the 3 disciples, Wanshan is the first in divine power. Shen Jian's Kendo is the first. Ji Tang's outstanding point is not obvious. But this kind of cultivator cannot be underestimated. Maybe it's a late bloomer. It's not good to be too obvious. In the days that followed, he pointed out the realm of Kendo between Ji Tang and Shen Jian. As for Wanshan, it is absorbing that golden arc. It seems to be stalking mountains. In fact, the best way to deal with it. Totally on your own. Once the golden arc is absorbed, the divine body can grow to 1,000 times. The next time is to break through his own realm and reach the 9-rank Dian Immortal at the fastest speed. At that time, Jian Wushuang will set up some tests for Wanshan. Rewards are divine treasures. After the divine power reaches 10,000 times, he has mastered the divine power. Almost ready to accept his legacy. However, the inheritance of acceptance also starts from the most elementary level. Chapter 61:17. From the beginning of the ages. Which step Shen Jian and Ji Tang want to reach is even more difficult. The realm of Kendo is by no means overnight. That's all. Hundreds of thousands of years passed in a flash. Wanshan was the first disciple to accept his inheritance. After being transformed through the ages, his realm has been elevated to the level of Daojun. Divine power practitioners do not look at realm, but look at divine power. At the beginning, Jian Wushuang was an emperor himself, and he was comparable to the master of the universe by virtue of his divine power. That's how it came. However, Wanshan still envied Ji Tang and Shen Jian, who had always been directed by Jian Wushuang himself. And it's almost self-indulgence. Although the growth rate is very fast, I still want to practice with the master. Shen Jian and Ji Tang are envious of Wanshan, so they can accept the inheritance early. They are all working hard. An epic time, soon. For the current Jian Wushuang, it is just a cleanup, a blink of an eye. Or an epiphany. In a blink of an eye. The 3 disciples all received the inheritance. The time of an epic has received the greatest improvement. From Yanxian to Daojun, accumulated a lot of money. There is only 1 month left until the meeting. Jian Wushuang also took them back to the original universe. Within the small division, in a valley built by the Lord of Lu Hua, Jian Wushuang and Lu Hua sat on the ground, drinking tea. The 3 disciples were besieging a wild beast with extreme combat power. Not bad, good tea. Yes, they did a great job. Jian Wushuang was talking about tea, while Lu Hua was talking about some of Jian Wushuang's disciples. The combat power of the 3 people amazed Lu Hua. If I hadn't experienced your era, I would have been frightened by their combat power. Lu Hua said with a smile, but you are also careless. I went to Qishan Temple a few days ago to see those disciples of Wuzhua. And they are not bad either. Jian Wushuang smiled indifferently. It doesn't matter, I have seen what I want to see. For their future, I can only hope. This is the only thing I can do. He was already very happy to see the majestic appearance of the Qi Temple. As for the outcome, it has become irrelevant. Now Ji Tang has mastered the stars, rivers and lakes. It is not far from the Star Sea. After this session is over, everyone can prepare to join the Tao. By the time of the Emperor, he has completely penetrated the sword intent of Xinghe Lake and Sea, and is basically invincible. Shen Jian is the same. It's just that after reaching the Lord of the Universe, the paths of the 2 are different. He will leave the universe map, space-time map, and starry sky map for the two of them. Even if you can't master it all, then leave it to your disciples. Future generations will bloom and bear fruit, and there will always be one who completely masters it. As for Wanshan, now the divine power is 50,000 times, and the combat power is terrifying. In terms of combat, it is even more capable of overwhelming the top alone. Neither Ji Tang nor Shen Jian were Wanshan's opponents. Moreover, Wanshan has also initially mastered the changes of the ages. Once cast, divine power can also skyrocket. This time, Jian Wushuang was not going to lose it all. If all this is lost, he will be happy instead. Happy to be talented. Seeing him like this, Lu Hua also thought of something and asked, Wushuang, to be honest, you are not far from the 8 tribulations realm now. The realm is enough, but not ready. He is not ready for the things after the 8 tribulations realm, and other aspects are almost the same. Alas! Lu Hua couldn't help sighing after hearing this. I really envy you. The original Emperor Lu Hua was a little weaker than Wu Zua. Now let alone compare with Jian Wushuang, and compare with Wu Zua is shameful. It's just the Lord of the Universe in the 4 tribulations realm. If it weren't for the treasure given to him by Jian Wushuang, he would not have the confidence to reach the 5th robbery. Don't say it, the more you talk, the more jealous you become. Jian Wushuang laughed. In fact, he envied the other party's leisurely days. He has become the 8 tribulations realm, and will soon leave the northern time and space to go to the completely unfamiliar realm King continent. Although now there are expectations of the unknown, but still a little reluctant to go home. Every time I change a place, I have this feeling. Start with passion and new ideas. Then got bored. Now only responsibility remains. After some reminiscence, the 3 disciples also beheaded the wild beast. The Lord of Lu Hua applauded loudly. The Dao meeting is coming soon. As my uncle, I won't tell you a lie, these 3 eternal treasures are gifts for you. Emperor Lu Hua took out 3 battle armors of the same standard and handed them to the 3. Eternal treasure. This is a big deal for Dao Jun. Jian Wushuang did not give them such a good treasure. Just give the innate best no. Emperor Lu Hua is the eternal treasure of the highest quality as soon as he makes a move. It really made their eyes warm. Brother Lu Hua, their strength is still too weak, such a precious treasure is too wasteful. Jian Wushuang smiled bitterly. Dao Jun used the eternal treasure, which exceeded himself too much, and could not exert his original power at all. Small book booth. Although he was in Dao Jun at the beginning, he also obtained a divine weapon. But the pieces on the Guantian chessboard can help him practice. Eternal treasure cannot help. Lord Lu Hua quickly waved his hand and said, It's considered a battle uniform. Thank you, Master. It was the first time that Ji Tang and Shen Jian got the eternal treasure. It is Wanshan, from a big family. The eternal treasure has long been there. After he became a Taoist, Jian Wushuang took him back to his family. It was because of a test that he happened to be selected in Wanjia. After the test, the family directly gave a lot of treasures. However, they were all taken away by the master. He knew that this was because the master was afraid of affecting his cultivation. You can't eat a fat man in one breath. If it is simply to improve the realm and divine power, Jian Wushuang can pile a pig to the emperor. Just choose the easiest way, and a pig can do it. There is no shortage of divine treasures, and divine power can be accumulated. These are very simple for Jian Wushuang. The problem is that Taoism pursues the ultimate, and it must be done step by step. Don't be rash. It's time to go. Jian Wushuang got up and said, Brother Lu Hua, let's go together. Just go to the Qi temple for a gathering. After this seminar is over, I will retreat. I don't know when the day will be. It is good. Dao Hui is all super-existent disciples, and naturally it will attract many strong people to watch. And those masters of the universe. After all, many are from big families. For example, Wanshan and Ji Tang are also from a family. The group of 5 entered the Qi temple. Although his 3 disciples had come to the Qi temple, they had not turned around. There was still a month before the holy meeting, So the three of them were given time to relax, and they were sent to the heaven for free activities. Jian Wushuang and Lu Hua went to the ancient mountain in the universe sea. First, I went to visit some treemen, and then went to the top of the mountain alone. The 10 masters of the gods and the 8 masters of the 7 tribulations realm universe have all arrived. Chapter 61:18. Apparently, the attention to the congregation is extremely high. That's a matter of self-interest. Wu Shuang, I'll be waiting for you. Everyone greeted. Jian Wushuang also took his place. Chat with people. Judging from the faces of everyone, it was obvious that they all had confidence. A month has passed in the retelling of the past. Taoism also followed. The venue is on Yuanyang Island in the heavenly realm. In order to avoid suspicion, Luo, as the host, was personally hosted by Jinling. When seeing the true spirit again, Jian Wushuang felt divine power from the other party. In fact, from the reminiscence with Wu Zua and others, he learned that the real spirit made great achievements because of the death of life, and was bestowed with a divine body by the king of the realm. Now it is almost the same as a cultivator. Divine power is also rising, and now he is the master of the 7 tribulations realm universe. If the sea of origin of Qi Temple can be integrated into the divine body, it will at least have the combat power of the 8 tribulations realm. No wonder Jinling is always happy. The Taoist meeting officially began with the announcement of the true spirit. Divided into play-in competition, ring competition. The most important thing is the thunder race. Shortlisting is a screening. If the play-ins fail, it would only be too weak. But this time the entry criteria are extremely exaggerated. God Desolate Tower. Divided into 9 layers. The Daojun who participated in the Taoist meeting climbed the tower in 1 day, and the fastest 100 people can enter the ring competition. As soon as this rule came out, Jian Wushuang and others felt that it was a bit exaggerated. 9-story barren tower. On the first floor there is a desolate beast of a 4th-order emperor. There are 10 heads on the 2nd floor. To the 5th floor is 10,000. Starting from the 6th floor, it is the wild beast of the 5th-order emperor level. There are 10 heads on the 7th floor. 8th floor 100 heads. The 9th floor is the most terrifying, and it goes directly to a desolate beast at the 6th-order emperor level. Not all Daojins can be compared to the top. Don't wait for them to think. The play-ins have begun. Jian Wushuang has confidence in his 3 disciples and knows their details. This level is not difficult, but it's harder for others. The tower opens. All the disciples entered their respective Shenhuang towers. Wanshan took the lead and the 1st floor flashed by. The same goes for the 2nd layer. Go straight to the 5th floor in 1 breath. But on the 5th floor, it only took 1 breath. Then came to the 6th floor. There was hardly any stop, and we reached the 9th floor. That is, on the 9th floor, Wanshan spent a stick of incense. The rest are added together, and there is not a single stick of incense. I thought I would be the first to come out. But when Wanshan was teleported out, 3 figures were already seen. Luo's first disciple, Xie Yu, Huiking's proud apprentice, Golden Arhat. There is also a disciple of Wu Zua, the masked Taoist. These 3 people, except Xie Yu, he didn't care about other people, he didn't expect the other party to be faster than himself. However, he did not use all his strength, not even the eternal change. Ji Tang, Xinjian, hurry up. He knows the strength of the 2, and it is absolutely no problem to pass, but he is afraid that he will not waste time with all his strength. A quarter of an hour has passed, and dozens of people have completed it. At this time, Ji Tang and Xinjian walked out leisurely. Seeing so many people, their faces were filled with surprise. Obviously did not expect that there will be so many people, it will be faster than them. What? Faster than you? Ji Tang was even more shocked to hear that Wanshan was only 4th. Together with Jian Wushuang and others who were watching the battle, they all felt incredible. It seems that this time the ring battle will be very exciting. Because there is a Daojun, he has the ultimate combat power. This will definitely be an extremely rare match. 18 disciples taught by super-existences, and they are all direct disciples, which is indeed unprecedented. The 9-story Baron Tower quickly screened out the top 100. See all the direct disciples of the Taoist Association. In fact, they have the ability to pass. Just the time spent is different. In particular, some unlucky ones hide some strength, and the speed is only a little slower. When he walked out of the Baron Tower, his breath changed. The same goes for Wu Zue, who is sitting on the viewing platform. He has the most disciples, and he often tells his disciples to be a low-key person and a high-profile person. This time, it seems to be a failure of human beings. In fact, the top 100, even if they don't hide their strength, are also the strongest 100 people. So the ring match will start as usual. Subject to lottery. The first round, 50 fights. The second round, 25 fights. In the third round, there are vacancies and only 12 fights. In the fourth round, there are still vacancies. It depends on who is lucky. Enter the top 10 with an empty sign. This is also deliberately arranged by the true spirit. Luck also represents strength. However, the direct disciples who were able to enter the top 100 did not bother to take up the empty lottery. The first round of draws is over. The 3 disciples of Jian Wushuang were not weak in the draw. And they are all disciples of Wu Zue. There is no way, even after being eliminated so many disciples, Wu Zue still has more than 30 disciples to enter the previous one. Each has the ultimate combat power. It's just that there are strengths and weaknesses in the ultimate combat power. 50 battles, starting at the same time. This is the top match. The battle time is not a one-shot solution, and even some battles are directly fought for several hours, and the winner is finally decided. The loser is just a chess move. Even Ji Tang and Xin Jian had a hard time winning. However, neither of them used the unique skills taught by Jian Wushuang. Only Wan Shan, from the very beginning, performed the eternal change, directly crushing the opponent. Eternal change. Seeing the familiar name, Hui Qing turned around and said, "This should be the improved eternal change." No error novel network Jian Wushuang did not hide it, and said indifferently, almost, it is more suitable for Daijin's magical skills. With this unique skill, it shouldn't be a big problem for Wan Shan to enter the top 10 this time. People are not stingy. The disciples cultivated by Jian Wushuang can enter the top 10. That's normal too. No way, the master is a pervert. The record set by Dao Jun has never been broken even by now. There are very few people close. Only Wan Shan, Xie Yu and others could approach the brilliance that Jian Wushuang left behind. Let's wait and see. Jian Wushuang didn't think Wan Shan's performance was very ambiguous. Compared with the trial, Wan Shan's suppression power has dropped a lot. During the trial, it was completely the first to be crushed. Don't go to his door. If you can't win the first place, it will be a shame. And it's a shame for Jian Wushuang. The first round of the ring battle was over soon. The second round also began. Did not stop too much. The origin and divine power consumed by the Taoist can be quickly recovered. Continuous fighting is also to maintain the feel. The draw in the second round was very unfavorable to Jian Wushuang. Among his 3 disciples, 2 were seeded. The Ji family's Ji was drawn to Ji Tang. Wanyan Lai of the Wanyan family drew Xin Jian. Only Wan Shan's opponent is unknown, but his strength should not be underestimated. Chapter 61:19. If you are not careful in the second round, it is very likely that 2 will be eliminated directly. Ji Yi was Luo's disciple and also used a sword. Moreover, her kendo has already completed the 5th floor, and she has reached the edge of the way. If it is not for the sake of meeting the Tao meeting, she can completely join the way. Ji Tang, you have the blood of the Ji family on you. Even if you don't admit it, you can't change it. The people of Jis family have also gone to Ji Tang these years. Jian Wushuang did not intervene, but Ji Tang did not shake his heart at all. If it wasn't for the master taking her away from Ji's house, she would not have lived long, and she would not have achieved today's achievements. Everything she's doing now has nothing to do with the Ji family. If there is a connection, it is hatred. Her mother died at Jis house. This account will be calculated sooner or later. The Ji family didn't know about this relationship, and thought that Ji Tang would look down on the Ji family after clinging to Jian Wushuang. So keep going. You won't understand the grievances between me and the Ji family. In an era, Ji Tang has grown a lot. Not a lunatic buried in hatred. She can tell who is the enemy, who is innocent. Ji Yi and her are of the same clan, but they have no friendship and no grudges. There is no need to argue about the Ji family with a young clan master who has been admired by all the stars since childhood. What she has to do is to defeat her opponent and win honor for her division. This is enough. Clang. The cold light flashed, and there was domineering in the fierce sword light. With the first sword, Xinghu sword intent was used. A huge lake spread out from the sword shadow, wrapping Ji Yi roundly. I don't understand the grievances between you and the Ji family. Can I still understand Kendo? Ji used his sword to defeat the enemy, and Luo Shu's sword intent also reached a very high level. Just a few swords broke the Xinghu sword intent. It wasn't enough for her. In the ring, the two Jijia Tianjiao faced off. It also attracted the size of the Lord of the Universe who watched the battle. I am very envious that there are 3 direct disciples in the Ji family. The future is limitless. Not in the pool. This battle, for the Ji family, is actually a loss. Because Ji Yiyu and Ji Tang's strength are enough to enter the top 20. Now there is a winner and loser. In addition to Ji Tang, Xinjian's side has also fallen into anxiety. Wan Shan has already ended the competition. Although the direct disciple who is not very two-eyed is also very good in combat power, and has the combat power of the extreme threshold, it is still a lot worse than Wan Shan. Wan Shan has displayed the eternal transformation, and has already achieved the ultimate combat power. It easily crushed the opponent, showing the suppression power in the trial. 25 battles, the coefficient has ended. Only Sun Jian and Ji Tang remained in the ring to support. Both of them are not doing well right now. Ji Tang was suppressed by Ji Yi, and Sun Jian was no better. But at the moment of victory, a vast ocean descends from the sky. Xinghai sword intent. The two performed together. With just one sword, the victory and defeat were moved back. Xinjian win. Ji Tang win. Many people did not react, and they were about to lose, but they turned against the wind. Ji couldn't accept it. She couldn't accept that she lost to a girl from the Ji family who lived abroad. Obviously he was going to win, but he was defeated by a sword. I actually lost. Ji took a half step back, standing under the ring for a long time, unable to calm down. Ji Tang put the sword into the sheath, walked slowly to the edge of the ring, and said firmly, "You don't understand grievances, and you don't understand Kendo." After leaving this sentence, she left and walked into the winner group. It's normal to not understand grievances, just like Ji Yi didn't understand why Ji Tang didn't return to the family. No error novel network somewhat funny indeed. If you don't understand Kendo, then there are a lot of them. The Xinghai sword intent just now has reached the peak of its peak combat power. That sword is by no means comparable to Xinghu. No amount of lakes can condense into a sea. No matter how small the sea is, it is also the sea. Star River Lake Sea. Once they are fully integrated, they are invincible emperors. It is no longer a Taoist, it can be compared. Seeing that his 2 disciples made breakthroughs one after another, they won the competition. Jian Wushuang was very pleased. Didn't say anything, just nodded. This is enough to make the disciple feel the true meaning. Wanshan's performance is also good, but the divine power route is not that complicated, and there is no possibility of such a comeback. Everything is a gradual performance. The 3rd round of lottery starts now. Finally, to the 3rd round of the competition. This time the top 10 will be decided. Empty visas can be said to directly enter the top 10. Among the 12 winners, 2 losers will be determined in extra matches. There are only 25 left. On the viewing platform, someone has already closed their eyes. Close your eyes forever. His disciples didn't even get in the top 25. And Wan Yan, so did he. There was only one disciple who entered the top 100, and he was also drawn to Wan Shan in the 2nd round. Also unlucky. Some are disappointed, some are happy. The only remaining disciple of the backbone Luo, Duo Bao Down, he directly drew an empty lottery and entered the top 10 while lying down, becoming the first tester to enter the top 10 in this Taoist meeting. Luck. The backbone Luo smiled very proudly. Lord Jinling is right. Luck is also a part of strength. My disciple's strength is not ranked in the top 10 in the same sect. I just survived the first 2 rounds, and even got an empty lottery. This is an internal competition. If it was an outside fight, he would have perished a long time ago, so don't be complacent. Several lords of the 7 Tribulations realm universe, who had no hope, looked embarrassed at this time. Backbone Luo, but deliberately showing off at this time, was naturally besieged by everyone. Jealous, you are jealous of me. Zhenling coughed dryly, then paused and said, don't talk nonsense, the 3rd round will start first, and the top 10 will be decided immediately. Among the current 24 Taoists, Jian Wushuang alone occupies 3. Wu Zuo also accounted for 3. Hui Qing occupies 1, which is the golden body of Arhat. There is only 1 merchant left. So does Lo. The rest were either wiped out or 1 was left. This battle is a winner. They are all personally directing their disciples and telling them about their opponent's shortcomings. Once they lose, they will have a hard time in the future. Now the downstream space-time, the resources that can be developed have been developed. If you want to make up for the deficit of Qi Temple, you need tens of millions of middle-level time in space or upper-level time in space, and work hard with the same level powerhouse. Many people also understand Jian Wushuang's intentions. Those who are suitable for teaching disciples can stay and teach them. If it doesn't suit you, go out. To get out of your comfort zone. Now the Qishan Temple is constantly expanding, and water needs to be released. Get a group of strong people and go to the middle or upstream time and space. Play the prestige of Qi Temple in advance. In order to prevent the barrier from disappearing later, the overall strength of the Qi Temple is still not enough. At that time, Jian Wushuang will have to come forward. Chapter 61:20. He can keep it for a while, but not forever. This is the only way to change Qi Temple. The 3rd round of battle also began. The draw this time was not bad for Jian Wushuang's 3 disciples. Wan Shan is sure to win. Ji Tang and Shen Jian displayed Xinghai sword intent and won the competition respectively. Completely entered the past life. The 2 with the longest time consumption will not be able to enter the top 10 even if they win. After the first 10 games are over, the last 2 arenas will be automatically judged to lose. Since then, 10 candidates have appeared. The 3 disciples under Jian Wushuang's sect all entered the top 10, and they won very beautifully. Then there is the golden body Luohan under Huiqing sect, and Xie Yuejian under Luo sect. The remaining 5 are Taoist Duo Bao, Ji Hao of Ji family, Gong Ping of Gong family. The last 2 came from the sect and the loose cultivators who were plundered by the true spirit. 10 people are elected. Wu Zuo was the most embarrassed. His 3 remaining disciples were all defeated. This time, only 6 people survived. Jian Wushuang occupied 3 places. Luo accounted for 2. Then there is the lucky backbone Luo as well as Shang, Huiqing, and the Lord of Light and Shadow. The rest of the people are unlucky, and the days to come will be difficult. Especially Wu Zuo, he owed Tiansong Palace a large amount of treasure. If you go to the upstream time and space, you will definitely be charged for debt. 18 superpowers will leave 12 at a time. The pressure inside Qi Shrine is also much less. And there will be a lot of treasures coming in. The foundation will become stronger and stronger. The 4th round of the competition also lost its original intention, leaving only the strongest duel. At the end of the 5 duels, Shen Jian and Ji Tang lost. Wan Shan entered the top 5. And the disciple of the backbone Luo, Treasure Hunter, used a strange magic weapon to win again. In the 5th round of the draw, it showed another bad luck and won the empty lot again. This time Wan Shan also met a strong enemy, and met Huiqing's direct disciple Golden Body Arhat. In the end, the eternal change was cast and the opponent was defeated. Wan Shan, which has displayed eternal change, is close to the level of Jian Wushuang's anti-sky level. If you can fully master the eternal change, it is not impossible to compare. The final top 3 matchup. Wan Shan and Shiyue fought to a draw. Taoist Duo Bao won the first place with luck. Let this more serious competition come to an end. The Tao will end. Jian Wushuang gathered with everyone for a moment, and then announced the retreat plan. This time off will be a long time. On the day of exit, either reach the 8 Tribulations realm, or Danbao has raised the life level of the northern time and space, and can be born in the 9 Tribulations realm. Other than that, there will be no exit. This determination also made Wu Zua and others take a deep breath. Even if you go out for a walk, you will stop practicing. Otherwise, Jian Wushuang would be thrown too far. After saying goodbye to each other, Jian Wushuang and his 3 disciples also left the Qi temple. He also told the 3 disciples about the retreat. There is nothing to hide about this kind of thing. In an era as a master, he naturally taught everything that should be taught. Doing things, and the most important inheritance. Now it is time for them to face the world. The edge of the primordial universe. Jian Wushuang took the 3 disciples into an ordinary secret realm, set up a thatched hut, and left Babata here. Explained to the 3 disciples that if you have important matters in the future, you can come here to find him. Of course, it is impossible for the deity to stay here. He will let Babata station here, and Babata will tell him anything. Wan Shan, you are following the route of divine power. Remember that the most important thing is not the treasure to enhance divine power, but the way to increase divine power. By accumulating divine power, anyone can do it, but increasing divine power is not something that anyone can do. Before leaving, he was still worried that Wan Shan would not be able to withstand the temptation, using the family's treasures to enhance his divine power and destroying his own route. In this regard, he also explained to Wan Jia that it is not easy to improve Wan Shan's divine power. When Dao Jun 50,000 basic divine power is enough, the rest is how to increase his divine power. Cultivation changes through the ages and changes through the ages. When you reach the Emperor, you will maintain 100,000 divine powers. To comprehend a more powerful eternal change. When you reach the Lord of the Universe, these restraints are gone. At that time, the other party should also understand his good intentions. Master. Wan Shan looked resolute and respectfully said, Disciple, you will definitely remember. The eternal transformation and the super-eternal transformation were also taught to each other. The road ahead is his own. After explaining Wan Shan's affairs, Jian Wushuang looked at Ji Tang and Shen Jian again. It is the most difficult for these 2 to inherit his swordsmanship. And the source of the promotion is very slow, and the 2 will also enter a period of silence. I have left you 3 catalogs for the master, divided into the universe, space-time, and starry sky. I tried my best to do everything. The universe diagram is also good. Empress Lord, you can also become teachers and pass on these inheritances on my behalf. Generation. Jian Wushuang stayed, and naturally he had to teach some disciples. But he didn't have time to do that. He handed it over to his 3 disciples. Okay, I should also go to retreat. If you have anything in the future, you can tell Babata, he will tell me, and you can tell him what you have in mind. After explaining everything, Jian Wushuang turned around and walked into the thatched cottage. The 3 disciples bowed in unison and stood up after a long time. Wan Shan took a deep breath and knew that he had to walk on his own, so he said, Senior brother, senior sister, do you have a place to go? The 2 shook their heads. A magnificent cultivation path will also unfold on the 3 of them. Besides, on Jian Wushuang's side, after entering the thatched cottage, there was only one Dharma body left. The deity has long since floated away. In the retreat place of downstream time and space, he has nothing to look at. Simply retreat in your own source starry sky. The deity went to the end of the tour, felt the desolation, and calmed down his heart. The stagnation of the million era, no fighting, no cultivation. You should also practice well. Buzz. On Tianqing Mountain. Jian Wushuang clenched his fist and exploded, and his divine power directly reached 30 million. This is also the current limit of the world. His basic divine power is 8 million, plus the 2 million brought by Jejia, It is 10 million. There is no improvement. Anyway, there is no need to fight now. Ascension is also something after the 8 tribulations realm. The magical power secret method, super eternal transformation, has reached the perfect level. Ordinary super eternity change, the increase of divine power is only doubled. The perfect super eternity, which can be doubled. The premise is the environment, and the foundation of his own divine power. Sometimes the perfect super eternity cannot be doubled. He still needs to make some changes. The troublesome thing about the divine power route is the secret technique of augmentation. This is the most time-consuming, but it is not the realm that improves, but the combat power. Jian Wushuang is cross-legged in the starry sky, and his mind is constantly improving the super eternity. Chapter 61:21. In order to achieve the most perfect posture. Time also passes by like a white horse, and one retreat is 100,000 epochs. A lot has happened during this time. Babata not only told him about his 3 disciples, but also collected some things about the Qi Temple, and even collected a lot of things about the middle and upper levels. This 100,000 era is not only a transformation of the downstream spacetime, but also the transformation of the entire northern spacetime. The secret method of resurrection has increased the comprehensive strength of the entire northern time and space by several times. After all, scattered robbery is much more than the master of the universe. Once these scattered tribulations are reborn, their strength will soon be able to catch up with the Lord of the universe. However, there are also some unfortunate tribulations that fail, and they die directly, so they can't be resurrected. In general, there is still a lot of risk in transcending tribulation, and you are only allowed to fail, but if you die in transcendence, you can't blame anyone. Moreover, the resurrection of the Lord of the Universe is several times more difficult than the normal Lord of the Universe. If you fail once, the difficulty will increase several times, until the body is dead. Even so, those scattered robbery are still very happy to have this opportunity. The forging master Lianxing, that Jian Wushuang made friends with in the ancient moon time and space now, he is the master of the 8 tribulations realm universe. His background is very deep, even if it is a robbery, he has the combat power of the Lord of the Universe. Now he has become the master of the 8 tribulations realm universe. This kind of thing has happened many times in the northern time and space. Let the master of the universe of the 8 tribulations explode several times directly. There are also those scattered tribulations in the 8 tribulations realm, who have also obtained the greatest benefits in this secret method of resurrection. Start preparing for the 9th robbery. But this time, no one took the initiative to cross the 9th robbery, waiting for the God of Life to raise the level of life. It is the same with the 3 eternal beings. Jian Wushuang himself is not in a hurry, he is only in the 7 tribulations realm now. Except for some big events in the northern time and space. Qi Shrine has also undergone great changes. The number of 7 tribulations has been increasing, but Huiqing is still the only one in the 8th tribulation. The number of 6 tribulations realm is also very good. The new master of the universe is 10 times as large as before. There are already 100,000 universe masters in the downstream spacetime today. Although it is not as good as the number of universe masters in the ancient moon spacetime, with the increase of time, it will surpass the ancient moon spacetime sooner or later. As for transcending the entire upstream spacetime, that would be impossible. Because the resources of the upstream spacetime are not comparable to the downstream spacetime. Just the resources of the ancient moon spacetime surpassed the entire downstream spacetime. If it weren't for the fact that some 7 tribulations realm powerhouses led by Wu's were competing for resources, the development of Qi Temple would have come to an end long ago. Now it's time to compete for resources. You will have to fight for territory later. Survival of the fittest. The weak enter the downstream and even the last swim. The strong will gather upstream. The northern time and space will also turn the world upside down. Now, just waiting for a chance for the barrier to disappear. Even if the barrier did not disappear, There are also a large number of strong people in Qishan Temple who have begun to enter the middle reaches of time and space. And it has already won a middle-level time and space. At present, a large number of strong people in Qi Temple are migrating. His 3 disciples also left the downstream spacetime, the time of 100,000 epochs. The 3 disciples have also reached the level of the master of the universe. Wanshan does not need to improve too much realm, and completely relies on strength to resist catastrophe. Now he is the master of the universe of the 5 tribulations realm, and the power has surpassed 1 million. It is the arrogance of the contemporary Qi Temple. Although the speed of Ji Tang and Shen Jian is a bit slow, their strength is not bad. Among them, Ji Tang's performance was even better. This is what Jian Wushuang expected. After arriving at the Lord of the Universe, Ji Tang went to Ji's house to learn about the grievances, and his strength surged again. Directly grasped the space-time catalog. He caught up with Shen Jian's pace. All have mastered the space-time catalog. As for the Starry Sky catalog, it was originally a thought left by Jian Wushuang. Those words he said at the beginning did not want the 2 disciples to forcibly cultivate the Starry Sky catalog. They would only put the cart before the horse and end up trapped in one place and unable to get out. Judging from the performance of the 2, he was overthinking it. Before Wanshan and the others left, they each took in several disciples and continued the inheritance. It's just that those things have nothing to do with Jian Wushuang. This time, the practice of 100,000 era stopped, but it was only because the super-eternal transformation completely reached the perfect level. In the future, the super-eternal transformation will not be weakened because of its own supernatural power. However, the current increase has been greatly reduced. Jian Wushuang was a compromise for himself. Originally pursued the ultimate in divine power. Finally put down the ultimate upgrade. The perfect super-eternity change, the divine power is doubled. Ordinary super-eternity change, the divine power is only increased by 50%. For example, his current divine power is 10 million, and after performing the full power super-eternal transformation, his divine power will be increased to 20 million. It seems to be much weaker than before. But when he has 20 million divine powers, he can display the super-ancient transformation of full power, which is 40 million divine powers. Before the improvement, after his basic divine power reaches 20 million, he may perform super-ancient transformation again, and he may not even be able to double it. Now the super-eternal change, the pattern is bigger. This is what he spent 100,000 epochs changing. After he reaches the 8 tribulations realm, the basic divine power can reach 20 million. At that time, the super-ancient transformation with full power will be 40 million divine powers. Plus the original dojo. Divine power will surpass the 9 tribulations realm. With such divine power, he also has the confidence to go to the Realm King continent. In the next time, he has to improve his source Starry Sky. At present, he is only 1 epiphany away from the 8 tribulations realm, and there is another expansion of the source Starry Sky. 9 super-perfect universes are his goals. Do not cross the calamity. In fact, it is easy to light up the 2 universes, but it is difficult to connect the 9 universes into a single line. This is even more difficult than starting a new cultivation for him. First, he has to connect all things in the 9 universes. It's easy to say that the space is different, but the time must be equal. Otherwise, how to connect to become time and space? This takes a lot of time. Sitting and practicing. Lonely and anxious. Jian Wushuang can't do anything about it. He will rest once after cultivating 10,000 era. In order to get himself into the state as much as possible, he did not hesitate to split the source and fight against himself. Pursue that sense of original purity. The time in the practice passed the fastest. The first million epochs passed quickly. The major events that happened in the outside world were also transmitted to the mind one by one. The second 8 tribulations realm of Qi Temple was born. For such a long time, the birth of the second Lord of the 8 tribulations of the universe is also normal, but the birth of the Lord of the 8 tribulations of the universe makes Jian Wushuang very surprised. Backbone Luo, the 10th Lord of the Qi Temple. Jian Wushuang never imagined that it was this very jealous backbone Luo who became the master of the 8 Tribulations realm universe. Chapter 61:22. It is the second after Huiqing. It is also the second in Qi Temple. Just before 60,000 era, the calamity was successfully overcome. I heard that this time the tribulation was so smooth, it was because of his disciple, the Duobao Taoist, who made Jian Wushuang feel that his luck was prosperous at the beginning. This disciple of the backbone Luo, in the middle reaches of the abyss, got a strange power that rose from the abyss. I couldn't figure it out myself, so I gave it to the backbone Luo. The backbone Luo didn't understand it at first, but after mastering it later, he just absorbed that strange power, and his divine power directly increased by 10 million. The opportunity also passed the 8th calamity. And his disciple, who also absorbed it once, became the lord of the 7 Tribulations realm universe. For a while, the limelight overwhelmed Wanshan. Wanshan is now only the master of the 6 Tribulations realm universe, and the speed of improvement has slowed down over the years. Nowadays, the most famous people in Qishan Temple are the 2 backbones, Master Luo. After becoming the backbone of the 8 Tribulations realm, Luo, the peak divine power exceeded 15 million, and he grabbed 3 spacetimes in the middle reaches. The Lord of the Abyss was furious, and if Huiqing hadn't come forward, there would have been a war. When Huiqing came forward, he easily managed the Lord of the Abyss. Downstream time and space now has the following desire to conquer. This momentum everyone can see. Even if the backbone Luo does not make a move, some people will take the initiative to take refuge in the Qi Temple. The Qishan Temple brought too much pressure on the middle reaches of the time and space. In the Million Era, a large number of strong people were born again, and they went to the middle reaches of space and time. Huiqing, who is at the peak of his combat power, can constantly suppress the entire middle reaches of time and space by himself. There are also many top combat powers. Having fought and never fought, in the middle reaches of time and space, there is already the idea of giving up. In particular, Juyang Immortal Venerable of Jufeng Time and Space, before leaving North Time and Space, gave the second-ranked Jufeng Time and Space to Huiqing. The entire midstream space-time has lost its vigor. The Lord of the Abyss didn't see Jian Wushuang before he dared to be so tough. If Jian Wushuang goes to the midstream time and space again, then it is indeed possible to collectively surrender. Although the Temple of Qi threatened the safety of the midstream time and space, it also brought hope to them. In the future, if there is no barrier, if you take refuge in the Qi Temple early, you can also follow the upstream time and space. Why not do it? Anyway, there is no hope of resisting. The competition in the upstream time and space is even more intense. Suddenly, a large number of powerhouses emerged, and naturally they had to compete for treasures and opportunities. It's already been a fight. The Realm King was so happy, it was better than a pool of stagnant water. And he also got a lot of time-space secret realms from the Realm King continent, and put them in the upstream time-space one by one. As for the middle and lower reaches, there is no indication. Even if Wu Zhuo went to fight with him, it would be the same. Either rush to the upstream time and space to compete, or starve. Will not favor any power. Treasures can be given to individuals, but they will never include the power they belong to. Even if the Qishan Temple has made great contributions, it is the same. This point still makes Jian Wushuang admire. Upstream is upstream, downstream is downstream. When the barrier is removed, there will not be so many things, and then it will be up to you. Jian Wushuang also began to enter the next stage of cultivation. At present, he has lit up the 9th universe. Treasures are almost consumed. Fortunately, when connecting them together later, you don't need to use mixed primordial stones. Otherwise, the mixed primordial stones that have been condensed over the years will not be enough. In the future, when he waits for the calamity, he will have to go outside. Search for treasures and go to the 8th robbery. It's just that it's an afterthought. The 9 universes are connected by a line, and he has no clue. Stuck on time. An endless time. Thoroughly immersed in cultivation, he will no longer stop. There is no sense of the passage of time either. Sitting in the starry sky. One is the 9 million era. The outside wind and snow melted, and the dead trees were reborn for an unknown number of reincarnations. There is only Jian Wushuang alone, and nothing has changed. The whole person sits stiffly in the starry sky. The 9 universes behind it are shining brightly, and inextricably linked time converges on everything. The prototype of time and space has gradually formed. To condense time and space, at least time must be cultivated to consummation. Now Jian Wushuang has finally done it. This is completely different from divine power. Don't look at the current practitioners after reaching the 8 tribulations realm. They are still blindly pursuing divine power, focusing on power, regardless of realm. When you reach the 9 tribulations realm, and you reach a demigod, if you want to go further and become a cosmic god, you must make up all of them. It is also because Jian Wushuang has a different path to take. His perfect universe is comparable to the universe god. As long as you master a universe, you can actually attack the universe god. But he is different. At most, a cultivator becomes of the universe, but he prefers to become of time and space or even of the stars. It is not the starry sky that has been named, but relying on his own practice to become the starry sky god. The position of God is inherently illusory. Destroying life is the star god. Didn't it fall in the end? The so-called gods are nothing more than that. The original Jian Wushuang, powerfully slaying the gods. The veil of mystery has long been torn down. God is not completely invincible. It's just that his vision is not high enough, his strength is not strong enough, it's just an excuse for himself. Becoming is not the goal. The goal is to defeat them. Jian Wushuang slowly opened his eyes, and a ray of light burst out, which was his incomparably powerful source power. Click. As he slowly got up, there was a sound of bones clashing from the flesh. It didn't stop until he got up completely. Babata! Jian Wushuang called Babata the first time he left the border. Swish! A dark red little devil appeared in front of him. Thousands of epochs have not seen, Babata's strength has improved a lot. But he is not suitable for cultivation, just like Babidi. But the improvement of wisdom is also a kind of strength. Master! You are finally out of the gate. Lord Realm King completely broke the barrier before 30,000 epochs. Now the northern time and space can give birth to the Lord of the 9 tribulations realm universe. This news did not surprise Jian Wushuang. It was a normal thing. If it is said that the universe can be born, he may be surprised. By the way, the 3 ancient existences in the upper time and space have successfully crossed the calamity and become the 9 tribulation realm. After countless years of accumulation, I speculate that they already have the divine power of the peak of the 9 tribulation realm. Now they have all left the northern time and space and went to the realm king. In the mainland, before the old man of Tianzong left, he once entrusted Wanshan to give you a message. The northern time and space has now entered the expansion period, and the cultivators whose divine power exceeds 30 million must leave, otherwise the development of the northern time and space will be affected. Babata said a lot in a series, and Jian Wushuang absorbed them one by one. Divine power exceeds 30 million? His current divine power is only 10 million. The 10 million divine power in the normal state does not have any burden on the northern time and space. The calculation here is the basic divine power. The 3 ancient existences have all left the northern time and space, which means that their basic divine power has exceeded 30 million. That really should have left. Chapter 61-23. 30 million? Jian Wushuang murmured, clenched his fists with both hands, and shouted angrily, "Ha!" A strong breath rose into the sky and directly sent Babata flying out. In the source starry sky, divine power can get the biggest increase. And it's auto-incrementing. After all, it is in its own dojo. The blue breath appeared, and Jian Wushuang's divine power soared directly from 10 million to 20 million. Now the source starry sky is equivalent to having a miniature long river of time and space to bless the divine body. The increase in divine power has also doubled. The divine power of 20 million is doubled again to 40 million. The powerful divine power, in his source starry sky, is like a duck in water, without any sense of unsupportiveness. But if you leave the origin universe, there will probably be suppression. Although the current northern time and space, the level of life has improved a lot. It has been able to maintain 50 million divine power. But the number of practitioners has also increased. Exceeding 30 million divine powers takes up too much space. If you want younger generations to grow up, you need them to leave voluntarily. It is not that it cannot support the divine power of more than 30 million. Call. The divine power has returned to the normal state again, and he does not need to maintain the super-eternal change all the time. Naturally, it will not affect anyone in the northern time and space. But it's time to get out. When the barrier disappeared, he also had to realize his plan and take the Chi Temple to attack the upstream time and space. Swish. Consciousness was pulled back to reality from the source starry sky. At this time, Jian Wushuang sat cross-legged on the edge of the abyss of Moyo. Slowly stood up, looked down at the abyss, and looked up at the starry sky. Take one step and come directly to the original universe. Thousands of era have never appeared. Today's Qishan Temple has already undergone earth-shaking changes. He really knows a lot less about his first god. In the first million era of Jian Wushuang's retreat, the backbone Luo became the 8 Tribulation Realm universe. In the next 9 million epochs, Wutian and Wu's successively became the masters of the 8 Tribulations Realm universe. The same goes for the Shanglua couple. Dongxing and Wanyan had average talents, and they were still stuck in the half-step and 8 Tribulation realm. Among the younger generations, there have also been many masters of the 8 Tribulations realm universe. Among them is the son, Gong Ming, left by Gong Miaoi and Xenjiu, who was saved by Jian Wushuang at the beginning. There are a lot more. Today, there are already 10 masters of the 8 Tribulations realm universe in Qishan Temple. Seems like a lot. In fact, it is still a lot worse than the midstream time and space. However, in the current midstream time and space, half of the territory is occupied by Qishan Temple. Today, in the Qishan Temple downstream, only Zhenling is stationed alone. Jian Wushuang ripped apart the space at will, entered the Qishan Temple, and went straight to the Sea of Origin. Immediately, I felt the consciousness of the true spirit. It is also the 8 Tribulations realm. Moreover, the Sea of Origin of Qi Temple has been completely integrated with the true spirit. Don't look at the fact that the true spirit has no origin universe, but in the Qishan Temple, it can explode 20 million divine powers. Jian Wushuang. On the top of the ancient mountain, Zhenling got up and looked at the first God Lord who had never appeared in the tens of millions of epochs in front of him, and said excitedly, "You are finally out, and if you don't come out, I'm going to find you." It's been silent for too long. So many people have never seen Jian Wushuang. Even the Dharma body did not stay in the ancient mountain, and many of the newly promoted 7 Tribulations realm, and even the 8 Tribulation realm, have never seen Jian Wushuang. And Jian Wushuang's prestige is also gradually decreasing. Now it is not as good as the 3 disciples he left behind. Both Xin Jian and Ji Tang have reached the 7 Tribulations realm, and they have also formed a Taoist companion, which is regarded as the second strongest Taoist companion in the Qi Temple. The first is naturally Shang and Luo. This retreat is no trivial matter. It really took a lot of time. During this time, Lord Zhenling has worked hard. It was he who proposed the change at the beginning, but he ended up going into seclusion by himself. There is also some guilt in my heart. Zhenling smiled and said, "I didn't mean that, but you have been in seclusion, and many people have forgotten you, the first god. It's time for you to go out and shake the quartet." This came to mind with Jian Wushuang. It is indeed time to go out to shock all walks of life, and take advantage of the trend to lead the Qishan Temple to attack the upstream. Before he retreated, he explained to Babada to collect the information of the upstream time and space. Find a weakest space-time and stand firm. The upstream 9 time and space. Originally, Guyu was the weakest in time and space, but as the goddess gave up her origin, Guyu cult suddenly became a force comparable to the 3 Eternals. The weakest time and space has become the falling soul time and space. This time and space used to be good, and of death was born. After breaking contact with the of death, the time and space of the soul fell completely. Even now 100 schools of thought contend, it is still a pool of stagnant water. If it wasn't for the temple of Qi threatening the Abyss Lord would have already led people to shovel the fallen soul. Now it is a great gift to Jian Wushuang. Just missing the treasures needed to cross the robbery. He stopped by to take a look at the time and space of the soul. If it is easy to talk, then strangely go to the middle reaches of time and space, and leave a good sight for the other party. If you don't speak well, then don't speak. Get straight to the point. The weak eat the strong. It's happening every day. If you don't fight, others will. Let me do this thing. Zhenling heard the words and asked, "Are you alone? There are so many people going to this kind of thing, isn't it just bullying?" Jian Wushuang smiled bitterly. Although the strong are respected, it should not be too much. If you can be safe and sound, it is better to keep a low profile. The tribulation realm is about to become a locust. It's too high profile. Even if you win the soul falling time and space, it's not very easy to hold. He is indeed powerful alone. But to hold a time and space, more superpowers are needed. Otherwise, others will violate your yin and yang, and instead trap your power. You can't go all the way and kill all the way. Sometimes, the world of the strong is not about fighting and killing. It's human nature. Before Tianzong left, the words he left for him also had other meanings. On the contrary, he could take the opportunity to visit the Tiansong Palace and secure the 3 eternal forces first, so that the Qishan Temple could gain a firm foothold in the upstream time and space. Otherwise it would be difficult to convince the public. There is another one, that is, the payment of the midstream time and space. And he already had a clear reason for it. The Temple of Qi originally belonged to the Morwa time and space in the middle reaches of time and space. Now go to the unified midstream time and space, which is also very reasonable. And without him at the beginning, the midstream time and space fell into the hands of Beirut. At that time, let alone eliminating the barrier, the midstream and upstream and downstream will be completely cut. It is also reasonable for him to recover the midstream time and space now. After knowing Jian Wushuang's thoughts, Zhenling clapped his hands and said with joy, "If the Lord of the Abyss, with half of your consciousness, will not have these things, I support with both hands. You go now, I will immediately notify Wu Zhuo to go. Take over the site." Isn't this a little anxious? Jian Wushuang felt that Zhenling was even more anxious than him, and even more shameless. Chapter 61-24. Before he even went to the middle reaches of time and space, he was thinking about how to divide up the territory. Other things can be slow, but this thing has to be fast. Don't you know now that the Qishan Temple is almost out of the question? After becoming the Lord of the Universe, you can't exchange treasures in the Qishan Temple, and now you can only train some Daojun, Emperor. Zhenling shook his head and sighed. All these years, Wu Zhuo and Hui Qing have been able to come here, and they have been searching for treasures in the secret realm to fill the gap in Qishan Temple. If it is not because they have to sit downstream. Time and space, I am ready to go out in person. Zhenling said that he was extremely pitiful. Just like a lonely old man who has to work hard. Although he knew that the other party was acting for him, he couldn't help but patted Zhenling's shoulder and comforted, "Don't worry, I'm here." After comforting Zhenling, he immediately set off. Nowadays, there are very few powerhouses in the lower reaches of time and space, and almost all of them have reached the Qishan Temple in the middle reaches. What the true spirit said is to cultivate only Daojun and Emperor, which is not the case at all. The Lord of the Universe is unwilling to stay in the downstream time and space, so naturally he does not need to stay in the Qishan Temple. Even if you want to train others, you can't look down on it. Alas! Jian Wushuang could only sigh helplessly. Zhenling still likes to sell miserably. Nothing has changed from before. Babata! After leaving Qi Temple, a brand new pyramid appeared in front of him. It's a pity that this pyramid has only speed, no defense and attack. That's it, it was made by Babata at a huge cost. The new pyramid flying boat can burst out of cosmic speed, and the power consumed comes from Jian Wushuang's divine power. This time, you can use it with confidence. One injection of divine power is enough to make the pyramid run around the entire northern time and space. And extremely fast. It used to take an era to travel to the middle reaches of time and space, but now it only takes 3 years. Taking advantage of this time, he also started to take a look at the current situation. The 3 eternal forces in the upstream time and space are entrenched. Then there is the Guyu sect. The rest of the time and space is still a mess of scattered sand, but if you attack rashly, the scattered sand will also gather into a tower. Not to be underestimated. Still can only weigh the time and space of falling soul. As for those forces in the middle reaches of time and space, he did not pay attention to them. At the beginning, I told the Lord of the Abyss that it would be different if I came to the middle reaches of time and space again. The pyramid travels through time and space and travels to the middle reaches at the fastest speed. Along the way, many warships were also found, all heading to the middle reaches. There are very few from midstream to downstream. Most of them also came back and brought their clansmen to the middle reaches. The downstream spacetime is actually not unsuitable for the Master of the Universe to practice, but it can't be too much. Dao Jun and Dijuan have no influence. Originally, it was planned to move the entire Qixin Temple to the upper reaches, but after thinking about it, it would be better to leave a branch hall to train Dao Jun and Emperor. Among the Masters of the Universe, those below the 5 tribulations are in the middle reaches, and some are sent to guard the 7th tribulations. The rest of the universe masters moved upstream. Put resources where they are. Progressive layer by layer. There is no need to make a leap to shatter the foundation that was originally formed. In the upstream time and space, there may not be such a large site to cultivate Dao Jun and Emperor. It is not as big as the downstream time and space, and it can filter the elites infinitely. Anyway, no one is going to grab the downstream time and space. In this way, the inheritor of Qi Temple can continue forever. Now it seems that they are all the 9th generation inheritors. Stronger from generation to generation. The masters of the 8 tribulations realm universe are all in groups. Transcend those eternal forces sooner or later. All we have to do now is to slowly expand the site. 3 years passed in a flash. The pyramid also came to the abyss. At this time, outside the abyss, there are various battle formations, and countless powerhouses are stationed. They are all guarding against the powerhouses of Qi Temple. In the middle reaches of the time and space, not all of them like to take refuge in the Qixin Temple, but they are still a little stubborn. After today, this opportunity is gone. Jian Wushuang walked out of the pyramid. When this pyramid that terrified the middle reaches of time and space at first, few people recognized it when it reappeared. After all, millions of epochs have passed. But still sharp-eyed recognized it. Pyramid. Jian Wushuang. It's over. They know who is coming. Jian Wushuang raised his hand slowly, looked at those time and space restrictions, and with a casual pull, the formation was torn apart directly. The entire formation was torn to shreds by him. However, he did not hurt the practitioner. Just ruined the array. Even though this great formation could not stop him from going. This is just a slap in the face. Swish! The great formation was destroyed, and several superpowers in the abyss time and space appeared. The leader is the Lord of the Abyss. The current Lord of the Abyss has reached the limit of the 8 tribulations, but he just doesn't have the confidence to pass the 9th tribulation. Its own combat power has also reached 20 million. So I dare to pick this one. Dare to compete with Qi Temple. Under his command, there are also several masters of the universe with 15 million divine powers. In terms of combat power, it is similar to that of Qixin Temple, and only loses to Huiqing. But now Jian Wushuang has appeared. The Lord of the Abyss knew that the guy in front of him was not as good as the bald monk, and a smile slowly leaked from his face. Beatty Pavilion. It turned out to be a peerless Taoist friend. I haven't seen each other for many years. I don't know when I will leave. Seeing that the other party wants to reminisce with him, Jian Wushuang is no longer in a hurry, and Dan Ran replied, I just left the customs, And I heard that the Lord of the Abyss is very strong. Wushuang can't wait to have a discussion with you. Learn from each other. The current Lord of the Abyss really has this idea. He has reached a level comparable to the 9 Tribulations realm, and his basic divine power has reached 20 million. He has used the magical power secret technique and the origin dojo to exceed 25 million divine power. From his current vision, it can be seen that Jian Wushuang is still the master of the 7 Tribulations realm universe. I don't believe that Jian Wushuang really has the power as rumored. Please enlighten me. The Lord of the Abyss was no longer talking nonsense, and with a wave of his hand, the crowd retreated. The Lord of the Abyss broke out first, and the divine power directly surpassed 20 million. Jian Wushuang was unmoved, but raised his hand and said, "Molo time and space, Jian Wushuang is asking for advice." As soon as the voice fell, it only penetrated the weakness of the Lord of the Abyss at a glance. The ultimate source and powerful divine power exploded instantly. Jian Wushuang, who was in his peak state, appeared in front of the Lord of the Abyss in a flash, and only one punch directly shattered the opponent's divine body, and the original dojo was en route. There are many emotions mixed in the incredible expression of the Lord of the Abyss. Unwilling and puzzled, fear and fear. The Lord of the 7 Tribulations realm universe smashed his divine body and the origin dojo with one punch. Lost. Completely defeated. Originally thought about a trick. If it wasn't for crushing, he would still be able to hold on. But since he heard the time and space of Morwa said by Jian Wushuang, he was completely defeated. Lost in the hands of an inheritor of the middle reaches of time and space. Chapter 61:25 is all his own. Qishan was originally a powerhouse in the middle reaches of time and space, and the Lord of the Abyss knew it. Jian Wushuang is also a disciple of Qi God. Naturally, it can represent Moro time and space. Brother Abyss. Jian Wushuang's divine power contracted, condensing a mass of life force and handing it to the other party. This is sincerity. Chapter 61:26. Jian Wushuang just nodded silently and didn't say much. He just looked at the high-spirited cultivators along the way and was very satisfied. This one, Golden Body Arhat, can you still remember that Huiking's disciples are now in the 8 Tribulations realm? Wu Zhuo pointed to an ancient golden Buddha preaching in a dojo and introduced. The Golden Body Arhat's real name is Shi Nan. In the Taoist meeting, he showed a good talent. Now he is the most accomplished person among the group of direct disciples. As for the 3 disciples of Jian Wushuang, only Wanshan has reached the 8 Tribulations realm, but it is a super ancient transformation. For Wanshan, the burden is still huge. And there is no star power, just the use of divine power. The divine power of gold is much worse than the power of the blue starry sky. After the display, the increase in divine power is also a little worse, so it is not outstanding among the 8 Tribulations realm of Qi Temple. By the way, look who this is. Wu Zhuo pointed to another dojo. A woman in plain clothes is talking about kendo. Ji Tang. Although it is in the realm of 7 Tribulations, it has a combat power no less than that in the realm of 8 Tribulations. Following Wu Zhuo around the temple, it can be regarded as a taste of the background of the Qi Temple today. Look, it won't take long before we can conquer the abyss. Wu Zhuo enjoyed the future. But at this moment, there was a voice transmission from the outside world, and all the 8 Tribulation realms in the abyss time and space suddenly gathered together and came to the outside of the Jufeng time and space. Wu Zhuo was shocked when he heard the words. Although he became the 8 Tribulations realm, his own combat power was not as good as the Lord of the Abyss. And Huiqing is not in the middle reaches of time and space, but fortunately Jian Wushuang is here, otherwise he will suffer a big loss this time. Brother Wushuang, I have to ask you this time, Huiqing. Wu Zhuo just wanted to explain something, but Jian Wushuang waved his hand and interrupted. Let them come in, they are already their own. My own. The Lord of the 8 Tribulations realm universe, who is guarding the Great Formation, also told Wu Zhuo by voice transmission that the Lord of the Abyss gathered dozens of 8 Tribulations realm universe lords and stood outside the Great Formation, saying that he was going to discuss going upstream. A matter of time and space. This made Wu Zhuo so excited that he looked at Jian Wushuang and said excitedly, "When did you get them?" When he moved out of Huiqing, he failed to win the abyss. The divine power of the Lord of the Abyss, he knew, surpassed 20 million. Today, the strongest masters of the universe in the 8 Tribulations realm in the Qi Temple have only 20 million divine powers. It is not the opponent of the Lord of the Abyss at all. Jian Wushuang just entered the middle reaches of time and space, and he did not make any movement, so he got the Lord of the Abyss. Have you become the master of the 8 Tribulations realm universe? Wu Zhuo couldn't see Jian Wushuang's realm, and thought he had reached the 8 Tribulations realm. Otherwise, no matter how powerful it is impossible to get the abyss time and space without any movement. Could it be that, being reasonable, let the other party surrender? After fighting with the Lord of the Abyss for so long, he knows the temperament of the other party and cannot easily admit defeat. Jian Wushuang shook his head and said, "I haven't crossed the calamity yet. The Lord of the Abyss is only a small matter. Let them come in, just to discuss the matter of the upstream time and space." No problem. Wu Zhuo spoke directly, letting the Lord of the Abyss and others come in. Anyway, Jian Wushuang is here, and he is not afraid of what the other party will do. Originally, he heard Junling say that Jian Wushuang was coming to the middle reaches of time and space, and he wanted to talk about the complexity of this place. Unexpectedly, in Jian Wu's eyes, no matter how complicated things are, they are also very simple. Wu Zhuo Palace Master, I haven't seen you for a long time, and my strength has improved a lot. The Lord of the Abyss was very far away, so he complimented loudly. But after arriving in front of him, he turned around and saluted Jian Wushuang respectfully. Wu Zhuo didn't care about these things, so he greeted everyone and entered the guest hall. At the same time, he also summoned all the high-level officials of Qishan Temple to discuss the matter of upstream time and space. Upstream is different from midstream. Otherwise, Jian Wushuang will not come to Wu Zhuo, but will directly kill the upstream time and space. Killing now is not the same as before. Before that, he really killed all the way. Cliff time and space. The goal proposed by Wu Zhuo is somewhat different from that of Jian Wushuang. The cliff spacetime is a very powerful spacetime, similar to the ancient moon spacetime. There are hundreds of experts in the 8 Tribulations realm. Among them, there are 10 superpowers with more than 20 million divine powers. The first powerhouse of the cliff time and space, the Lord of Moya, heard that he was going through the 9th calamity. It is very likely that he is the 4th Lord of the 9 Tribulations realm universe in northern time and space. Such a person. It's not that Jian Wushuang did not dare to provoke him. But this kind of time and space is qualified to be in the upstream time and space. There is no need to seize the cliff time and space. But Wu Zhuo persisted. Jian Wushuang also saw some tricks, and someone was definitely leading. The Lord of the 9 Tribulations realm universe is valued even by the realm king. How could it be possible to let them go to internal friction? Palace Master Wu Zhuo, what you said is a bit big. The Lord of the Abyss felt that Wu Zhuo had gone crazy. Don't think that with Jian Wushuang, you can do whatever you want. What is the difference between provoking the cliff time and space and attacking the eternal forces? Even if Jian Wushuang wins, it will be restricted in the future. It will let the superpowers of the upstream time and space take the initiative to form a group to besiege the Qi Temple. This is what no one wants to see. The Lord of the Abyss adjusted his breathing, turned his eyes to Jian Wushuang, and persuaded, "Wushuang God Lord, what do you think?" Anyway, the plan he gave was the same as Jian Wushuang's idea. They are all to seize the time and space of the fallen soul. Poor foundation, weak strength. There are also relatively few resources. But you can hold on to this position. Wu Zhuo, if there's something wrong, why don't you just say it directly? From now on, everyone will be your own, so there's no need to hide it. He knew that Wu Zhuo had something unspeakable, so instead of telling him behind his back, it would be better to say it to convince everyone. Now Wu Zhuo alone supports the attack on the cliff time and space. Wu Zhuo's complexion sank, he glanced at him and sighed, "Brother Wushuang, it's not that I don't talk about it, this matter is very involved. Let's put it this way, as long as you take down the time and space of the cliff and kill the master of the cliff, the Realm King will still treasures will be given. Realm King. Hear this title. The Lord of the Abyss was stunned. He knew the Realm King. It used to be very mysterious, but since the barrier was lost, all the gods have descended together to enhance the background of the northern time and space. Many people in the Eight Tribulations realm know the existence of God. I know better that the Lord of the northern time and space is the King of the realm. That's why he was so surprised when he heard the word Realm King. Unexpectedly, Wuzwa is still related to the Realm King. In fact, this is not a secret in the upstream time and space. That is to say, the powerhouses in the middle reaches of time and space have less knowledge, so they don't know. Palace Master Wuzwa, this is no joke, you have to explain it. The Lord of the Abyss seemed a little excited when he heard the Queen of Realms. Also curious about Wuzwa's identity. Those who followed the Lord of the Abyss and those who were strong in the Eight Tribulations realm were shocked when they heard that Wuzwa knew the Queen of the Realm and pricked up their ears to learn more. Chapter 61:27. In their eyes, they are just a practitioner. God is the supreme being. The secret of resurrection. The secret of life. Space-time barrier. These things can be taken out when they are said to be taken out. Let the entire northern time and space be improved. This is too mysterious for them, and there is very little information they know. So curious. Jian Wushuang was different. He heard that the Realm King would bestow treasures, and he understood that this cliff time and space must have involved something that shouldn't be involved. For example, the threat from the Realm King continent. According to the information he knew, the Cliff Lord should also have a Realm Kingling, and he was the first group of 8 Tribulation realm powerhouses to go to the Realm King continent. Later, the catastrophe came and had to cross the calamity, but it still failed. Become a robbery, until the resurrection's secret method appears. Be the master of the universe again. This time is the second time to cross the 9th robbery. The Realm King wants to eradicate the Lord of the Cliff. This is easy to understand. There must be something wrong. Explain. Wuzwa was silent. This explanation he could not say. Because of shame. Of course, the Realm King is a shame. But as the real disciple of the real king, he would also be embarrassed. So do not want to say. Jian Wushuang just glanced at him, then slowly got up. I see, no need to explain. You can tell by looking at Wuzwa's expression like a pig's liver. The Realm King must have stumbled and been calculated. Fair enough. Justifiably. The King of the Realm has an order: kill the rebels, capture the time and space of the cliff, kill the master of the cliff, and reward the King of the Realm. It's okay to go to the King of the Realm. This kind of thing he did not once or twice. But the benefits have to be stated in advance. The treasure to cross the 9th robbery must be released by the Realm King. I also need to take out some Realm King orders for those who contribute. The time and space of the cliff is not a person's territory. In addition to the master of the cliff, there are also many super strong. It's up to others to contribute. At present, the Qishan Temple can dispatch 10 masters of the 8 Tribulations realm universe with a divine power exceeding 15 million. The Lord of the Abyss has to go too. Don't let him go, he has to be in a hurry. The divine power is 25 million, and he has not been to the Realm King continent. He is well aware of the importance of the Realm King order. He stood up directly and wanted to fight in the front line. The Yin and Yang elders of the cliff time and space, leave it to me. Both of these 2 divine powers are around 20 million. Hui Qing is now in retreat to impact the 9 Tribulations realm and can't get out. Only the Lord of the Abyss can handle it. Wuzwa took a deep breath, first transmitted the sound to the Realm King, and said Jian Wushuang's request. Awaiting reply. He didn't dare to promise in advance. After a long silence in the hall, Wuzwa's expression softened and he said, "Let's go now. I leave early, and the pyramid is left to you. It's been a long time since I went to the upstream time and space, and I still have some old friends to meet. The pyramid is left to Wuzwa and others, and his own speed is no less than that of the pyramid. This matter must be resolved quickly, so as not to have too many dreams at night. He is now close to the 8 Tribulations realm, and he is short of the treasures he needs. The Lord of Cliffs is retreating to attack the 9 Tribulations realm. If you slow down a bit, the other party will succeed in the tribulation. He didn't doubt that the other party would fail, and to make the Real King hold such grudges, he definitely took the benefits that he shouldn't have, and met people he shouldn't have met. The strength should not be underestimated. 30 million. It is very likely that it will surpass 30 million divine powers. Wu Zhuo heard the words and said in surprise, "There is no need to be so anxious, why don't we go together? There's no need for this, so hurry up and cultivate, or you'll be left behind if you go to the Realm King continent." Jian Wushuang teased, and his figure disappeared. Only a triangular pyramid remains. Swish. After the figure completely disappeared, there was a buzzing sound in time and space. Even if Jian Wushuang had left, the Lord of the Abyss couldn't help but exclaim, "The strength of the first God Lord is really unfathomable, and the speed alone might surpass the 9 Tribulations realm. Stop flattering, hurry up and arrange someone." Wu Zhuo said angrily. He fought with the Lord of the Abyss for so long, but he didn't give him any good looks. The Lord of the Abyss didn't have a brain, just turned around and glanced at his subordinates, and said, "Go." Most of the people he brought with him came to him halfway, and they all focused on one interest. "Realm King Ling, if you want this kind of thing, naturally you have to bring it over to do meritorious service. On the Qi Temple side, there is no such a big competition. As long as the divine power reaches 20 million, Wu Zhuo can ask the Realm King to apply for the Realm King's order, and he doesn't need to work hard. This is the personal kindness of the king and Wu Zhuo, and it is not a special consideration for Qi Temple. In the upstream time and space, as long as the divine power reaches 20 million, you will also get the Realm King order, but the way to obtain it may be slower. Wu Zhuo only needs to say hello, which is naturally a lot more convenient. So he didn't plan to bring too many people. Only 10 Cosmos Masters with divine power exceeding 15 million divine powers were selected. In the upstream space-time, there is also a branch of the Qi Temple, but the scale is small. Where there are several 8 Tribulations realm superpowerhouses. Among them is Jian Wushuang's disciple, Wan Shan. The rest of the people can prepare to go to the Abyss and arrange the incorporation of the Qi Temple. Wu Zhuo deliberately issued orders in front of the Lord of the Abyss, then turned his head and said with a smile, "Brother Abyss, you should be fine there." The Lord of the Abyss heard the words and shook his head directly. "No problem. In the future, to obtain the order of the Realm King, I have to rely on Wu Zhuo. Naturally there will be no problems." And they all agreed, "Then cooperate honestly." That's good, that's good." Wu Zhuo nodded in satisfaction and waved his hand. "If that's the case, let's go too, don't be too far behind Brother Wushuang. Babata, activate the pyramid, Wu Zhuo rectified a little, and also began to enter the upstream time and space. Jian Wushuang had already left Jufeng time and space at this time. The figure is like a towering mountain, walking in the long river of time and space. From time to time there are some small lights flashing around. Don't look at the smallness of light and shadow, each of them is in the 7 Tribulation realm, and there are also some 8 Tribulation realm universe masters. But compared with Jian Wushuang's divine body, it is a lot worse. The divine power of 40 million has completely exploded, and the speed of travel has indeed surpassed some of the 9 Tribulations realm. Jian Wushuang. A voice came from the depths of time and space, and the familiar voice made Jian Wushuang's eyes light up and the speed slowed down. "Lord Realm King." The two consciousnesses met and smiled at each other. "The matter of the time and space of the cliff, I'm going to trouble you again this time." The Realm King smiled a little embarrassed. Once again troubled Jian Wushuang, he is also a little sorry. He came directly ahead of time and handed over the treasures that Jian Wushuang needed. Jian Wushuang was not polite, he accepted it directly and said politely, "Lord Jiawang is serious, I am a practitioner of the northern time and space, and if someone threatens the northern time and space, it is tantamount to threatening me. This matter, naturally I have to come forward to solve it, But I don't know what the details of the Cliff Lord are like. The Lord of the Cliff. There was recollection in the king's eyes, and he finally sighed, "Actually, it's my fault." Remembrance gathers into the picture, that is some grievances and grievances in the distant time and space of the northern time and space. Chapter 61:28. In the original northern time and space, there were actually several extremely talented 8 Tribulation Realm Universe Lords. Among them is the Lord of the Cliffs. The 3 ancient existences are the same group of powerhouses as Tiansong, and they have a good relationship. The original Cliff Lord was stronger than the 3 ancient existences. As their strength continued to grow stronger, they also received some inheritance from the Realm King, and later went to the Realm King continent. But it was at this time that the Cliff Lord began to change. See the power of the outside world. Unwilling to stay in the northern time and space. At this time, it was also known that the practitioners of the northern time and space could not survive the 9th robbery because the level of life was not enough. Because of this incident, they were hit hard. But as the strength continues to grow stronger, the supreme catastrophe of the source cannot be suppressed. It is necessary to transcend the calamity, but transcending the calamity is a failure. It's okay if the Realm King didn't say it. After saying it, everyone's mentality changed. But powerless. During that time, the 4 of them were left in chaos. No fighting spirit. The Realm King also felt guilty, so he went to the Great Realm King for help, and obtained 3 divine fruits, which could stabilize the source and suppress the realm all the time. Until the of life was born. There is also a special level. Eternal. Like the universe God, there is no robbery, and the supreme rule is avoided. But there are only 3 divine fruits. The Realm King has no choice. Just set a trial. The first level of combat power competition, the Cliff first. The second level of divine power competition is still the first. But in terms of mental strength in the 3rd pass, the Cliff Lord fell a lot lower than the first 3, and was even inferior to the 7 Tribulations Realm Universe Lord. The Realm King was also very tangled at the beginning, and happened to meet the prophet of the gods. An omnipotent prophet, from the stars. From the other party's mouth, the king got 3 names. Needless to say, Jian Wushuang also knew who these 3 were. The Lord of the Cliffs was defeated. Only to fail. I told him at the beginning that after the secret method of resurrection comes out, he will be the first cultivator to be resurrected. The Realm King sighed and shook his head. Even Moya can live for so many years, and it is also maintained by the king with the power of life. But the Cliff Lord still came to a wrong path. Jian Wushuang sighed and said, "The mind is different, I chose the wrong path, I can understand." The second time to cross the 9 tribulations, the difficulty has doubled. Over the years, the Cliff Lord has been dangling by the power of life, and cannot accumulate the source at all. After rebirth, he has to practice step by step. Time has worn out his patience. All patience was spent waiting for the of life. After being resurrected, even diving can't be done. At that moment, he knew that he was useless. It's a waste of life. No one can save him. Seeing that the 3 contemporaries who were inferior to him all entered the 9 tribulations realm, the grievances hidden in the bottom of my heart also emerged spontaneously. That kind of unwillingness and hatred mixed together. As a result, the Lord of the Cliffs embarked on a road of no return. Jian Wushuang, if possible, give him a way to survive. The Realm King sighed, in fact he was right. Because I didn't have a choice. If there are 4 divine fruits, even if the prophet said that the cliff is not good, he will still give the other party 1 divine fruit. In the dark age of the northern time and space, it was these 4 dazzling masters of the universe of the 8 tribulations who gave the Realm King hope. I saw the glorious appearance of the future north time and space. His feelings for the 4 were not ordinary, so he didn't want to see anyone fall. Jian Wushuang, however, felt that the Jiawang was too much of a lady, and said sharply, "Lord Jiang, this matter has nothing to do with you. I still say the same thing. He threatens the entire northern time and space. There is no need to give him another chance. Although his current temperament has changed a lot, he does not hesitate to kill. But not the virgin. What should be killed must be killed. The realm king has supported Moya for so many years, and he still has to betray him. This is the white-eyed wolf, must die. If it was a different person, he would give some face to the realm king, but the lord of the cliff should be punished. He is also a pitiful person. The king wanted to say something, but was interrupted by Jian Wushuang waving his hand. Am not Huiqing, I will look at reality. If he is really forced to be helpless, he will do something wrong by holding a knife around his neck, then he will abolish the source and divine body of the other party. If not, then he will be beheaded. Jian Wushuang's figure flickered. Gone. He wasn't talking nonsense, and his figure kept flashing and moving towards the upstream time and space. He also knew about the matter of the Cliff Lord. Betray the northern time and space? This matter, I am afraid, still has something to do with Zamas. Can't be careless. It took decades to hurry. Once again came to the upstream time and space. Compared with the previous time, the upstream space-time has changed a lot. There are time-space level continents, or time-space secret realms everywhere. There are also some very large universes. He didn't stop all the way, contacted the branch of Qishan Temple stationed in the cliff time and space, knew the specific location, and set off again. At the same time, he also notified Wu Zua and the Lord of the Abyss. Tell them about the time and space of the cliff. If it really has anything to do with Zamas, he himself is in danger. Not to mention Wu Zua and the Lord of the Abyss. To be on the safe side, he also contacted King Shenmu. As the ancient Eight Tribulations realm, the opponent has a very strong background after rebirth. There is also a treasure bestowed by the realm king, and his current strength can also be ranked in the top 10 in the northern time and space. From the other party's words, he also learned that the current Shenmu king is the protector of Guyu sect. The status is similar to that of Pope Guyu. As soon as he heard that he was going to eradicate the rebellion of the northern time and space, he immediately summoned 10 masters of the Eight Tribulations realm universe, each with 15 million divine powers. Directly attack the cliff time and space. Anyway, with Jian Wushuang taking the lead, he naturally wasn't worried. It's just to get some benefits in the past, and at the same time catch up with Jian Wushuang. He had seen Huiqing and felt ashamed, but Huiqing told him that Jian Wushuang was stronger. This also made him curious about how strong Jian Wushuang was, and he went to kill the Cliff Lord alone, and he was the only one who was responsible for the surrounding miscellaneous fish. In fact, Jian Wushuang is a strong man who is worried about the Qi Temple. I am afraid that if something goes wrong, I will be surrounded and suppressed by the powerhouses of the cliff time and space without a helping hand. Over the years, it has not been easy for Qi Shendian to accumulate these foundations. They were all saved by Wu Zua and others. It is impossible to lose such a strong person because of one rash. Asking the Shenmu king to help is nothing more than sharing some treasures. Treasures can be fought for, but when people are gone, they are really gone. Jian Wushuang was shocked and stopped. The surrounding space and time began to collapse. Cold Shadow Villa. This is the branch of Qishan Temple stationed in the cliff time and space. The upstream time and space was originally in charge of Huiqing, and the base camp was also set in the falling soul time and space. The goals in the early stage were the same, all of them were the time and space of falling souls. Although there is no large territory in the upstream space-time, the universes and secret realms in some space-time still occupy a lot. This depends on the strength of time and space. Chapter 61-29. The Lord of Light and Shadow plans the progress of every step while mobilizing the powerhouses in the entire northern time and space. This time, in addition to the powerhouses on the Qi Temple side, Jian Wushuang also informed the Shenmu king, the second in command of the ancient moon sect, who can also contribute. For him, it is a free helper, and the reward will be the realm king. Moreover, the realm king also specially sent the powerhouse of Tiansong Palace to assist. With the powerhouse of Qi Temple, it's almost enough. Cliff time and space. Above the Cliff Palace, the cold current swept across the sky, and the dark mountains were cut off. This place is also called the Cliff Time and Space. It is a cliff moved from the Realm King continent. The cliff palace opened by the Cliff Lord is just above the cliff. Jian Wushuang turned into the night, only revealing a pair of blue eyes. Hidden in the night sky, no one can detect his breath. Wait. After leaving the Lord of Light and Shadow, he sneaked here, waiting for the dispatch of the Lord of Light and Shadow. Also waiting for the gathering of the army. Wu Zua and the Lord of the Abyss brought people almost to the upstream time and space. Shenmu King was originally in the upstream time and space, but now he has reached the outside of the cliff time and space, and with him is the Gore Fiend Hall Master of Tiansong Palace. At the beginning, he was a Super 8 Tribulation Realm powerhouse. Because of Jian Wushuang, he also went to the Realm King continent once. If he had reached the limit of the 8 Tribulation Realm, if it wasn't for the transfer of the Realm King this time, he would be ready to attack the 9 Tribulation Realm. These two super existences have supernatural powers of more than 25 million, and can even reach 30 million. Lord of Light and Shadow, this king is here. Light and Shadow. After the two arrived at the designated location, the Lord of Light and Shadow in the secret room of the villa revealed his face through the dim light. He did not answer the words of the two, but quietly transmitted his voice to Jian Wushuang. Go! The voice entered Jian Wushuang's mind, and he was waiting for this opportunity. His eyes opened, and the divine power of the surrounding world was instantly sucked up by his terrifying devouring power. Caused the entire sky to vibrate. Kill. A simple word, but there is an infinite sense of oppression. Cliff Palace. The most powerful force in the cliff time and space, leading the cliff time and space for countless years. But in the blink of an eye, the divine power was drained, and the weak emperor was okay, and could rely on the source to maintain it. But those cosmos masters with extremely powerful divine power were miserable and almost suffocated. Fortunately, the divine power stored in the source universe instantly complemented the divine body. In such an instant, a large number of powerhouses in Moya Palace just reacted and found a towering figure in the sky, already waving their fists and smashing at Moya Palace. God! A master of the 5 Tribulations realm universe lived in the Cliff Palace since childhood. It was the first time he saw such a scene, it was like a dream. He never even dreamed that one day and demon would attack the Cliff Palace. Boom! The gods and demons waved their huge fists and smashed them on top of the Cliff Palace. The infinitely powerful formation began to crackle. Even the ordinary robbery realm can feel that the formation can't hold it for a few times. This time, the high-level masters of the 8 Tribulations realm universe finally reacted. Bold. Who dare to come to the cliff time and space to be wild? For a while, several angry shouts burst out at the same time. There are 6 masters of the 8 Tribulations realm universe, and their divine power is around 20 million. Swish! The 6 powerhouses of the Cliff Palace instantly appeared in the sky. At this time, Jian Wushuang's exposed divine power was only 25 million. Well, he frowned, neither the 2 Dharma protectors came out? With such a big movement, even if the Lord of the Cliffs is not brought out, the 2 guardian gods should come out. According to the information of the Lord of Light and Shadow, 2 Dharma protectors have been seen returning to the cliff time and space together a few years ago, and they came out of a super-secret realm in the upstream time and space. At the beginning, the Lord of Light and Shadow was still curious why the 2 guardian deities suddenly returned at this time. After learning that the Cliff Lord is related to Zamas, he speculates that the other party should come back to protect the law for the Cliff Lord. Now that Jian Wushuang has made such a big noise, but failed to elicit the 2 guardian gods, the place where the Lord of the Cliffs will cross the calamity is probably not in the Cliff Palace. Or rather, ignore him. I feel that these 6-8 Tribulations realm can solve him. That would underestimate him too much. What? Jian Wushuang incarnates the gods and demons, fighting the 6 immortals alone. He did not use the sword of myriad tribulations, but 2 broken swords, which were the most suitable weapons for gods and demons. Who are you, dare to attack my Cliff Palace? But do you know that the 3 eternal forces are all friendly with my Cliff Palace? Boom! Jian Wushuang ignored the opponent at all, wielding Pajien and constantly attacking the six people like an unconscious beast. Until he pressed the main force of the six universes, he was distracted to destroy the formation of the Cliff Palace. Click. Although the tens of thousands of attacks failed to land in one place, they still shattered the formation of the Cliff Palace. For a time, countless figures flew out of the Cliff Palace. Most of the weaker ones have been collected by the Lord of the Universe into the treasures of the cave, and now the ones who escape are the lords of the universe of the 5 tribulations. The Lord of the 8 tribulations realm universe stayed behind. At the same time that the formation of the Cliff Palace was broken, a more majestic and demon stood up from the Cliff Palace. It was a formation. There are at least 18 masters of the universe, and each of them is in the 8 tribulations realm, so the divine power of a single person may not be a concern, but after forming a large array, the divine power has shot up into the sky and has been stimulated to 26 million. It is about to block Jian Wushuang. This is not coming out? Jian Wushuang smiled bitterly. I originally thought that after breaking the Cliff Palace, no matter how the 2 guardian gods should come out. I didn't expect to be so calm. It can't be blamed on him for bullying the weak. Wow! The gods and demons he transformed into melted instantly, and countless divine powers returned to heaven and earth. The masked black armor Jian Wushuang stood proudly in the void, turned into a deity, raised his hand lightly, and a blue light instantly tore apart the space and time, and in the blink of an eye, it pierced the great formation that had just been formed. Boom! A loud explosion made the world tremble. The 6 masters of the universe who had previously besieged Jian Wushuang held their breath. He actually hides divine power. The divine power that Jian Wushuang had just exploded was only more than 20 million, and it could easily suppress the 6 cosmos masters with a divine power of 20 million, but it was still not enough to deal with the great formation that transformed into a demon. This time, the disguised breath leaked out of the deity. But it only takes 1 finger to defeat this demon. It's over. Notify the palace master and the Dharma protector. Knowing that it is the man's arm is the car, then there is no need to stay and fight hard. They fled everywhere. Jian Wushuang wasn't targeting these people either, so he didn't care. But waiting for the dark eyes to open. The ancient breath came from above the cliff. Jian Wujuo's color also sank. Chapter 61:30. That breath is not alone. But 3. The 3 ancient breaths erupted at the same time. Each divine power is above 30 million. Each is in the 9 tribulations realm. This time, it was Jian Wushuang's turn to be unbelievable. Originally, I thought it was a question whether the Lord of Cliffs could become the 9 tribulations realm, but I didn't expect that even the 2 guardian gods became the masters of the 9 tribulations realm universe. Difficult. How could this be? He was only slightly surprised, and then notified the Lord of Light and Shadow. Go. Do not. Skip. Run away. Don't worry about other people, leave the cliff time and space first. All of a sudden, there are 3 more lords of the 9 tribulations realm universe. The realm king didn't even know. It was obviously Zamis's plan. What was supposed to be a sure thing, didn't expect it to turn out like this. If I knew earlier, I would come back after I have passed the 8 tribulations realm. Now his divine power is still too difficult to deal with the 3 9 tribulation realms. Even in peak state with 40 million divine powers, it would be difficult. Because he didn't know how much divine power the other party had. Anyone who is close to Zamisu should not be underestimated. After the Lord of Light and Shadow heard his anxious voice, he did not hesitate, and with a few cronies, he directly tore the time and space away from the cliff time and space. Although he didn't know what happened when the powerful threat was just exposed, he couldn't help trembling. Absolutely the super powerhouse of the 9 tribulations realm. I also watched Broly and Extinction. After cultivating for so many years, he has also attained the perfection of the 8 tribulations realm, which can be roughly felt. The divine power contained in that breath, although not as terrifying as Broly, is much stronger than the original Jian Wushuang. The reason why they were able to win against Broly and Mieshing was because Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing merged to win. Otherwise, for them, those two threats were a big mountain that they couldn't climb at all. Now, the power of threat has once again invaded this time and space. The Lord of Light and Shadow did not dare to think too much. Immediately, the voice transmission was sent to Wu Zhuo, as well as the rest of the powerhouses who were about to enter the cliff time and space. Now it depends on whether Jian Wushuang can handle it. After the original 3 ancient existences became the 9 tribulations realm, they left the northern time and space. It's impossible to come back right away. Now only Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing can resist. Ku Hui Qing is still in retreat. At the critical moment of the 9th robbery, no one dared to disturb Hui Qing. So is the Realm King. The 3 lords of the 9 tribulations realm universe appeared again in his northern time and space. This was a good thing, but he did not expect 3 enemies. Who is it? The king of the realm clenched his fists and turned his head to look at the end of the upstream. He always felt that there were people from Zamasa hiding in the northern time and space, so he was counted again and again. And this time, 3 9 tribulation realms were suddenly created. Fortunately, the northern time and space have stabilized. If it is hidden, it may also cause some damage to him. But when he found out, it wasn't much of a threat. Jian Wushuang can't handle it alone. He can also arrange for Tian Song and others to quickly return to the northern time and space. Not as passive as before. Jian Wushuang, Hui Qing. There was brilliance in Jie Wang's deep eyes. These 2 are the future bearers of his northern time and space. There are also Wu Zhuo, Wu Tian, and Shenmu Wang who will grow to the 9 tribulations realm, and even the universe will appear. Then he will not be afraid of Zamas. Especially Jian Wushuang. Once you reach the universe god, and then merge with Hui Qing, that's strength. He couldn't even imagine that the gods would bow their knees. It's like being beaten to death. What if God merged? Not to fall. Thinking of this, the Realm King had his hands behind his back, and said to himself, I don't know if the Realm King has it in the fusion of the secret method. This kind of thing has to be prepared. It's a pity that after asking for a while, my heart is cold. This kind of secret method is only possessed by the Kaiwang god. Only when the next realm appears, will there be an extra piece. In other words, the current Zamasu does not have it, only the contemporary Kaiwang god has it. Of course, since it can be created, it will naturally exist in the starry sky, but the Realm King of his level cannot touch it. Maybe ask Protoss, you may get it. It's just that it's an afterthought. Cliff time and space. Jian Wushuang stood in the void and tore off his disguise, revealing his true face. The blue hair fluttered, and the sword of myriad tribulations buzzed behind him, always ready to unsheath. The 3 lords of the 9 tribulations realm universe are indeed a bit difficult to deal with. A sword might not solve it. It's you! An angry shout came from the depths of the cliff palace. Listening to the voice, it is not the Lord of the Cliffs. The reason why Jian Wushuang no longer pretends is because it is no longer necessary. In the entire northern time and space, the strongest sword is on him. Once the sword is out, it will also be recognized, so why hide it and choke? What's more, now that Light and Shadow's plan has been shattered, and he is left to face the entire cliff time and space alone, there is no need to hide it. Jian Wushuang. A strong voice came from the cliff palace, and then 3 streams of light shattered the mountains and rushed out of the secret room. The Lord of the Cliffs. Jian Wushuang raised his head, without any panic. He has the confidence to face the 3 9 tribulations realm head-on. Even if the tribulation is successful, the regular divine power of the 9 tribulation realm is only 30 million. Up to 35 million. Beyond 40 million, what is the concept? The threshold of demigods has been reached. Maybe it's because they underestimated the threshold of demigods. Demigods in the Realm King continent generally need 45 million. In the starry sky, it would cost about 50 million. The god of the universe may require hundreds of millions of divine powers. He didn't think that these 3 lackeys would be so powerful. Headed by the master of the cliff, he looked directly at Jian Wushuang. He didn't know much about this rising star, but from Zamas he learned that Jian Wushuang is not simple, with more than 30 million supernatural powers. And he is also the master of the Seven Tribulations realm universe. This shocked him even more. Although his face is cold and stern, but at this time, he does not want to cause more troubles and betray the northern time and space. He is for strength, not the so-called face. Even if the old nest is taken over, it can be rebuilt. So when he saw Jian Wushuang, he reluctantly let out a smile, and with a smeared paint he said clearly, "Fellow Taoist, my Moya Palace has always respected your Qi Temple. Why are you here today?" He also knew a lot about Qi Temple, but that was out of hatred. Because Wu Zua is the disciple of the Realm King. So he hates. Why wasn't he chosen in the first place? If you choose him, he will not betray the North Dimension. So hate the Realm King. Ruined his spiritual path. Hate the weakness of North Time and Space. I can't wait to be reincarnated directly and go to another time and space. It was at this time that he was targeted by Zamas and became the opponent's minion. Jian Wushuang also knew about these things. The matter of the Cliff Lord is actually very simple. Lack of Xinxing, even if it becomes an eternal existence, it may not be able to withstand the birth of the of life. Chapter 6131. Maybe you will betray the northern time and space halfway. Besides, the Realm King is not mean to him. Eat and drink well. Finally betrayed. My grievance with you is too great. Jian Wushuang didn't pretend at all, pressing the hilt lightly with one hand and said coldly, "Do you know Zamas?" Hearing the name, the Cliff Lord was stunned for a moment, but just as he was about to refute, his eyes turned cold. The phantom of the Realm King descended on Jian Wushuang's side. That unwillingness filled the will of the Cliff Lord. Since that time, he hadn't seen the king again. The treasures were given to the Cliff Lord through Tiansong and others. Goodbye now is the mortal enemy. That's it. If you cut off your practice, what else can you be if you are not a mortal enemy? Moya. The King of Worlds had a guilty tone and said in a low voice, "It's too late to turn around now, let's go to the world of kings, and we will never owe each other from now on." The Cliff Lord widened his eyes in excitement, pointed at himself with trembling fingers, and shouted angrily, "Do you owe each other? Who will pay back your cultivation path?" Arrogant. Jian Wushuang's eyes turned cold. "Moya, this is the opportunity given to you by Lord Realm King. If you don't grasp it properly, today will be your death." Haha. When the Cliff Lord heard his words, he laughed madly. "When is it your turn to speak? You are just a dog beside the Realm King, and you are still complacent. The creatures in the lower reaches, if not for some inheritance. Do you feel qualified to speak in front of me?" Cliff. The Realm King was also angry, staring at each other. "What?" Moya was slightly surprised. "Did I say something wrong?" At the beginning, he gave Jian Wushuang a glance and stayed by the king's side. But there was that choice. If he was not as good as Tiansong and the others, he voluntarily stopped practicing. He even had the idea of voluntarily giving up his position after the competition. But I never imagined that the Realm King would choose so much. At the beginning, I only had 3. The king gritted his teeth and said, "You can blame me, but this has nothing to do with the northern time and space, and it has nothing to do with those practitioners. I don't know why you became what you are today, Zha. You better not believe what Ma said." The Cliff Lord's body trembled a little, and after taking a deep breath, he said excitedly at the Realm King, "That's why I hate you, and I hate this world even more, but that's what I chose, but the one who broke my cultivation path was the one who you picked it. I never believed what Zamas said, but he can make me stronger, that's enough." The aura on the Cliff Lord began to rise, showing his divine power, and at the same time he turned to look at Jian Wushuang. The voice said coldly, "The creatures from the lower reaches, don't think that you have acquired some self-important inheritance. You can do nothing. Let you know today, I am also very good at fighting." The voice just fell. The Cliff Lord raised his hand to condense a wave of light, which directly penetrated the phantom of the Realm King. The projection was in the void was destroyed by the Cliff Lord, and the Realm King disappeared in the cliff time and space. There is no need to do it again. He just wanted to give each other a chance. Since he didn't listen to the persuasion, he could only leave everything to Jian Wushuang. In the face of Cliff Lord's shot, Jian Wushuang did not stop him. He felt that if the real king stayed here, he would only waste his time with his mother-in-law. It's better to kill the opponent earlier. He is still waiting for the 8th robbery. It's finally clean. If you don't do anything, I might do it. Jian Wushuang sneered. His arm was slightly forced, and the blue blade had been pulled out from behind. Clang. The sword of myriad tribulations came out, and the surrounding time and space suddenly turned blue. A powerful breath filled the entire cliff time and space. This time it may be broken again. Well. The Cliff Lord was stunned for a moment. The terrifying aura made him dazed. 40 million divine power is just Jian Wushuang's peak divine power. But if you really want to say the strongest means, it has to be Kendo. This indelible breath came out. The knowledgeable Cliff Lord instantly understood the difference. Are you good at beating, or are you good at being beaten? Jian Wushuang sneered, and the sword shadow danced with the figure. An indescribably stunning sword shadow erupted from the myriad tribulations sword tomb. Today, I will give you the 10th calamity. The sword shadow buzzes. Time and space reincarnation. The strongest sword. No superfluous displays, it's that simple. Form a formation. The Cliff Lord shouted angrily, and his divine power had risen to the peak, but it was only about 38 million. Even if the tribulation is successful, it will not be much different from Tian Song and others. The 2 guardian gods, just reacting, also broke out at the same time. Divine power is about 35 million or so. The 3 formed a formation with a supernatural power of up to 4,000. Not to mention whether there is such a time or not, even if there is time to give them the ancestral formation, they cannot stop Jian Wushuang's strongest sword today. The 5th sword is his peak. As for the 6th sword, he couldn't use it at all. At the beginning of the incarnation of Jian Wushuang, it was only displayed in front of him. At that time, the source that he could mobilize was too powerful. It is already at the level of the universe god. Now he can't even do it as a demigod, is still far behind. Of course, there is no need for a 6th sword to deal with the 3 masters of the 9 tribulations realm universe. That's for slaying gods. Time and space reincarnation. First, the time and space were blocked and time slowed down. Sword shadow seems to be slow. But let the opponent feel extremely fast. Too soon they can't react. That's it. The sword shadow crossed time and space and pierced into the divine body of the Cliff Lord. Time just slowed down. Then comes reincarnation. From death to life. From life to death. Puff! The Lord of the Cliff spurted a brown blood sacrifice from his mouth. He stared at Jian Wushuang in disbelief and said in a trembling voice, "What kind of swordsmanship is this? Time and space. Reincarnation. No wonder. It's not wrong to lose." The Cliff Lord no longer had any stubborn anger and resentment at this time, but everything was relieved. This is the power of time and space reincarnation. Someone can understand the true meaning of life and death from this sword. There are also people who can understand the mystery of time and space from this sword. One sword out, 2 worlds. Moya, you are a practitioner of the northern time and space. Even if you fall to your origin, you will return to the northern time and space, but you are related to Zamas, then your origin must not return to the northern time and space, and I will completely remove it, and your soul will also be removed. It will shatter and will never be reincarnated. In order to let the other party know the despair of betrayal, Jian Wushuang said word by word. This is the end of betrayal of the northern time and space. In fact, the king didn't explain it that way, but he wanted to do it. To avoid imitators in the future. With the powerhouses in the northern time and space, there will be more and more powerhouses going to the Realm King continent, and they will inevitably be fooled by Zamas. So we have to give them a slap in the face, and this matter will definitely be announced in the future. Chapter 6132. The vitality in the main body of the cliff has already begun to elapse, and it cannot last for a cup of tea. Hearing this result, his face did not show a trace of emotion, but instead smiled. Jian Wushuang thought he was going crazy. But at this time, it is useless to go crazy. The divine body and the source are broken, and the vitality is also passing away. Do you think I'd be afraid of this? The Cliff Lord shook his head proudly. Jian Wushuang frowned, and didn't bother to talk nonsense with a dying person, but just stated the reality coldly. Don't you just think that Zamas will give you the bottom line? Aren't you trying to get stronger? But from now on, you will be completely obliterated. From now on, you will still be the object of the entire Northern Dimension, the first person to betray the Northern Dimension. Your clansmen, your disciples, and your sect will all be wiped out. I don't know if the other party has thought about this kind of consequence, but he is reminding the other party. The Cliff Lord is getting more and more sullen. You said it all. I will never be born. My soul will fly away. No matter how much I say, I can't hurt me. Then have you ever thought about doing all this and why? Jian Wushuang unknowingly fought a dying man, and his mood became a little unstable. He didn't know it yet, and before he knew it, he had already been caught. In fact, Jian Wushuang thinks a little more, and he will understand. What a feat when he defeated Broly, killed and killed. How could Zamas arrange for the 3-9 tribulations to deal with the northern time and space? Isn't this a gift? Even if it is taking advantage of Huiqing to retreat, it can't threaten Bei Shikong. And such an obvious arrangement must have ulterior motives. This is conspiracy. It was a naked conspiracy, but Jie Wang and Jian Wushuang thought it was a conspiracy. The Lord of the Cliff, who was about to fall, understood everything from the sword. He stared at Jian Wushuang with pitiful eyes and said word by word, to allow me to choose in the future, choose. An opportunity for him to choose. He had fantasized about that opportunity. If one day he needs to choose someone, that person will be the Realm King. He will not have any hesitation. He just wanted the Realm King to understand that he had made a wrong choice. You're the best. It was the real king who had chosen the wrong one. This opportunity is, after all, a fantasy. In reality. But there is a chance to be placed in front of him. Ridiculous. Jian Wushuang raised his sword and wanted to completely end the opponent's life. He suddenly felt that there was a shadow shrouded in his heart. Make him uncomfortable. Now, I just want to solve the other party and hurry to cross the robbery. Wait. The Cliff Lord called out Jian Wushuang, who was about to start at this moment. He looked at Jian Wushuang, and suddenly there was some deliberate unwillingness and resentment in his eyes. Because he knew that Zama's plan was a pretense. The ultimate goal is to break the Sword Wushuang's state of mind. Although he took the other party's benefits when he was about to die, he still had to choose North Time and Space. Choose the Realm King. He did not continue to speak according to what he originally wanted to say, but revealed fear and unwillingness. It gave Jian Wushuang a kind of psychological comfort. I regret it. Tears fell from the eyes of the Lord of the Cliff, and he said excitedly, Jian Wushuang, don't destroy my soul. I will tell you the ultimate secret of the northern time and space, and the Real King does not know. This sentence really caught Jian Wushuang's attention, and the sword in his hand stopped. It was not the reason for this sentence, but the other party stopped after revealing his satisfied expression. The mood gradually stabilized. As for the secret, he disdains it. Jian Wushuang has never seen anything. He has been to the starry sky, and he has seen celestial spirits. North time and space. What secrets can the northern time and space have? He just admired the other party's unwilling expression. It's good to say, I'm in a good mood, but it can break your soul, let you disperse and reincarnate, and there is hope for integration in the future, but at that time, I may be the you look up to, and you can't show any signs of anything. The waves. The face of the Cliff Lord was trembling, but his heart was a wry smile. A man who was about to die, but he had to care about the person who killed him. The ultimate mystery of the northern time and space is at the end of the upstream. Wherever you go, you will understand everything. Also, be careful of Zamas. Watch out for Zamas. This was the last sentence left by the Lord of Cliffs, and then Jian Wushuang carefully collected the source, which he did not dare to swallow at will. As for the soul, it is easily crushed. Also installed. Reincarnation or not, it's up to him. As for the secret place, he scoffed. The end of the upstream, it was originally going to go, but also reminded by the other party? However, he had to pay more attention. Call. After beheading the Cliff Lord and others perfectly, he also let out a sigh of relief. For some reason, the troubles solved with a single sword gave him so much pressure. All this he blamed Zamas. In fact, it is correct, but in a small direction. And wrong a lot. After so many years of seclusion, the Mu Chi that has cultivated has harmed him. Light and shadow lead people to do it. The Lord of the Cliff and the two guardian gods have both fallen, and the one related to the Cliff Palace will not be left, the rest. The rest of the investigation is clear, and they will be released if there is no problem. A way to live. He didn't do things like that. Cliff Palace really cannot stay. When I went in, I realized that what Zamas gave was similar to the one that destroyed life, and it had already spread to many people. Must be eradicated. Otherwise it's a hassle. Just one thing, he was very curious, why Zamas would come up with 3 9 tribulation realms to deal with him. And still at this point in time, there are already 3 9 tribulation realms in northern time and space. Even if he can't, Hui Qing is in retreat. You can also suppress this matter and wait for Tian Song and others to come back and solve it. He only needs to know that there are 3 9 tribulations realm in the cliff time and space. However, running is no problem. I am afraid that Zamasu will not be unaware of this. But still did it. Therefore, Jian Wushuang was a little surprised, and some couldn't figure it out. The cliff time and space lost the cliff palace. Just like a cut-down tree trunk, it was useless. The Lord of Light and Shadow personally mobilized, and the 3 parties rushed into the cliff time and space. Wu Zua led the powerful Qi temple in the middle reaches. Wu Tian, who took over from Hui Qing and led the powerhouse of the upstream spacetime branch, also rushed in. Wan Shan is among them, but now there is a task at hand, and after feeling Jian Wushuang's breath, he can't go to see him, and he can only hope to end this dispute as soon as possible. The first 2 teams, the Master of Light and Shadow, both explained that they should be measured and let go of everything that has nothing to do with the Cliff Palace. If it is related, just check it out, detain it for a period of time, and release it if there is no problem. If there is a problem, don't say more. Chapter 6133. However, the people from the Guyu sect led by the Shenmu King had no such scruples. Especially the Shenmu King, he just knew that someone was plotting the northern time and space, and the Real King issued an order to kill. In fact, Jian Wushuang told him. In the outside world he had seen the Realm King, only to find that the other party's face was a little bad, and he did not dare to come forward to talk to him. He thought of killing the quartet in this place and helping the king of the realm to vent his anger. So it's the most ruthless to start. As long as it is a branch of the Moya Palace, it will be directly destroyed by his Moyun vine, and none of them will be left. Some families with their backs to the Moya Palace were left to the disciples of the Guyu sect. Those families are actually not that good. They are all the families of some cosmos masters. The strongest ancestors are only 5 tribulation realms, and only 1 6 tribulation realm is needed to win. However, the disciples of the ancient moon sect searched for treasures faster. Kill them all directly, take the treasure and leave. Kill. Inside a miniature universe in the cliff time and space. Killing all over the sky. In one of the huge valleys, there are more than 1,000 lords of the universe fighting. This place is a famous secret place in the cliff time and space. Later, it was obtained by a 7 tribulation realm great master and transformed into a small universe of his own. Both the family and the sect practice here. However, because there is a younger generation in the family, who is a disciple of the Moya Palace branch, it has attracted killings. The leader was Gu Yu, a master of the universe at the peak of the 7 tribulations realm. Holding a giant blood-stained blade, he dragged the blade slowly up the blood-stained steps, and said in a cold voice, "Leave none." Yes. The masters of the Six Tribulations realm universe behind him also joined the fight one after another. And the Seven Tribulations realm powerhouse holding a giant blade came to an old man's side. Shangwangxing, weren't you very arrogant last time you were in the Eternal Realm? Blood Knife. The old man named Shangwangxing was no match for the Blood Knife at this time. His origin has been shattered by a master of the Eight Tribulations realm universe. Blood Knife is here to take care of the aftermath. Said to be the aftermath, in fact, is to collect some treasures, by the way, to clean up the rebellion. I can die, give them a way to live. Shangwangxing lost his high spirits, and he was also a proud figure in the world at the beginning. But in the face of the fall of the descendants of the family, even the Lord of the Universe in the Seven Tribulations realm burst into tears, willing to fall by himself, and want to save the descendants of the family. This is the accumulation of his several eras. The family thrives. But because it has a slight relationship with the Cliff Palace, it will be cleaned up. Old man, stop struggling. This time God wants you to die. Do you understand? The Blood Knife sneered. That's what he was ordered to do. Heaven wants the Cliff Palace to die. Even the three lords of the Nine Tribulations realm universe fell within a quarter of an hour. Now no one can keep the practitioners who are related to the Cliff Palace. Blood Knife. Shangwangxing used his last strength and shouted angrily. Want to explode. But the cold blade entered his chest. The icy knife edge pierced through Shangwangxing's chest. You! Shangwangxing held the blade that pierced into his chest tightly, his eyes bursting. Behind him, there was a little girl, dressed in white, lying in a pool of blood, with fear and tears in her eyes. A moment ago, this place was still picturesque and warm. Now it has become a sea of blood. Everything is like a dream. Grandpa! The little girl lay on the cold ground and called out to Shangwangxing. Before Shangwangxing turned his head, the blood knife slammed out of his chest. Pet! Shangwangxing completely lost consciousness, but he looked at the little girl one last time. He understands that today's family, sects, and disciples will all die. God is dying, who can stop it? TK, there is one more. Shui Dao stared at the little girl playfully. The blade was already aimed at the little girl. Just as he swung the knife, he was blocked by a blue breath. The huge force snapped the blade, and the shocking blood knife took a few steps back. A blue figure slowly descended. Glancing coldly at the scene in the valley, he couldn't help sighing. Who are you? The blood knife man got up quickly, knowing that he was not an opponent, and began to report his family. I am the messenger of the ancient moon sect, I. The figure wrapped in the blue breath shouted angrily, Shut up! The figure in the breath is none other than Jian Wushuang. He leaped over the cliff and saw too many such scenes. But what can he do? Do not kill? But the things Zamas left behind have penetrated into the origin of many people. Kill. But it involves too much. The kindness of women should not be there. But seeing it, it's still hard to watch. Shui Dao was also stunned by Jian Wushuang's words, and did not dare to speak again. It's just that the bottom of my heart has been transmitted to the master of the universe of the Eight Tribulations realm who follows. Which master of the Eight Tribulations realm universe heard the figure wrapped in blue breath, and instantly thought that it was Jian Wushuang. This what King told them at the beginning. In addition, when Jian Wushuang shot in Taiku Heitian, many people saw it. As soon as he heard that the other party was Jian Wushuang, Shui Dao felt even more aggrieved. Isn't this an order from Jian Wushuang? Why stop him? Jian Wushuang's order, Ukanshu. Calm is only aware of the hidden dangers. Shangwan's house. Is it a hazard? Maybe he doesn't think so, but the people below don't think so. I'd rather kill 10,000 than let one go. Phew! Jian Wushuang took a deep breath. He knew that he couldn't stop him. After the breath wrapped the little girl, he instantly disappeared into the valley. Left a sluggish blood knife, and I don't know whether to continue or stop. After being stunned for a long time, he finally waved and led people out of the valley, leaving behind his family, and all the practitioners who surpassed Yanxian were taken away. Even if Jian Wushuang has come forward, what should be done is still to be done. Otherwise, what are they going to do? Jian Wushuang himself may be struggling. Glancing at the comatose little girl, he casually found a blessed land of heaven on the cliff and threw it into it. It was a paradise with no practitioners. The silence of a time and space also gave the last trace of tenderness at this time. It was not until he left the cliff time and space that Jian Wushuang let out a long breath. Jian Wushuang. After the Lord of Light and Shadow felt the breath, he immediately leaned over. He instructed the three powerhouses to enter the cliff time and space, but he did not enter. Seeing Jian Wushuang coming out at this time, there is respect in his eyes. This time Jian Wushuang took action to solve the three lords of the Nine Tribulations realm universe, and the shock to him is no less than that of Jian Wushuang at the beginning. Jian Wushuang was stunned for a moment, and then he looked at the Lord of Light and Shadow and said sullenly, "This time it was hard work, the aftermath. You don't have to worry about the rest, this time thanks to you." The Lord of Light and Shadow said politely, "Without you, let alone take this cliff time and space, you may not be able to protect yourself." Jian Wushuang sighed, "This is nothing." Chapter 61-34. By the way, what are your plans next? The Lord of Light and Shadow asked. Next. After this time, Qishan Temple has gained a firm foothold in the upstream time and space. After winning the cliff time and space, Qishan only needs to develop a little, and it can take advantage of the situation to annex the falling soul time and space. 9 times and space, win the second one, and when Huiqing successfully crosses the calamity and reaches the 9th calamity, he can also open up the eternal world. At that time, it might be time to leave. Huiqing pursues the resurrection of Jiang Shang's soul, while Jian Wushuang pursues a stronger Tao. There are also some formidable opponents. I'm going to go to the end of the upstream and then start the calamity. When the Lord of Light and Shadow heard the tribulation, he thought that Jian Wushuang was still in the 7 tribulations realm. It is also time to transcend the 8th robbery. Some of those people in the same batch have already prepared for the 9th robbery. Jian Wushuang's speed is indeed a bit slow, but no one dares to question his strength. This is what the Realm King asked me to hand over to you, and he also explained that you should contact him after you have successfully survived the calamity. The Lord of Light and Shadow took out a mustard seed and handed it to Jian Wushuang. After taking the mustard seed, don't think about it, there is a treasure prepared for him to overcome the calamity. This time, he originally came for the treasure, but now that he got the treasure, his mood was a little down. I don't know if it's because of the fall of the Cliff Lord, or because of the purgatory-like cliff time and space, it became like this. After all, it was just the fluctuation of the broken station. After Jian Wushuang recovered a little, he said goodbye to the Lord of Light and Shadow. At this time, the Shenmu King also sent a voice transmission to let him enter the cliff time and space to divide up the treasures. He just refused with a smile, let Wu Zua and others go grab it. As soon as his body moved, he rushed towards the ultimate upstream. Passing through the ancient moon spacetime, he also discovered a familiar aura. Li Xing. Back then, the head of the Li family of the Yu Kingdom also had some friendship with each other in the infinite world. Later, the other party left the infinite world and found that his family was gone. He also fell into madness. Fortunately, his strength was still there. When he turned back to his body, he did not open up a family again, but founded a Taoist temple, which is now also a Taoist ancestor. To the level of the 7 tribulations realm. The Empress did the same, reaching the peak of the 7 tribulations realm. The Lord of Yunji has reached the 8 tribulations realm. These familiar auras were just swept away. Because the grievances have long since ended, there is no need to meet again. All have their own opportunities and paths to go, but they have gone in the opposite direction. Naturally, there is no need to meet, and it is embarrassing to meet. Jian Wushuang shook his body, completely left the 9 worlds and headed towards the barren land. Look for the abyss, or the cliff waterfall above the abyss. Where the cliff, and the cliff in the time and space of the cliff, are the same mountain range. He still just found out about this. The abyss. Same as the abyss downstream. It's all terrifying. Bottomless. It's not the kind built by Kaiwang God. You can go to the bottom. Through the barren. Reach the end. North time and space, upper, middle and lower reaches. The ultimate place of countless universes. Life starts from here and time starts from here. The space continues from here. Jian Wushuang stood in the void, looking at the cliff. The cliff has black water flowing down the waterfall into the abyss. The huge sound is overwhelming. Backtrack. Jian Wushuang forcibly tore apart the time and space, and performed a time and space backtracking. Think of what happened in the years before this place. He has done this many times. Same as the universe. At the beginning, there was no sound. The water flowing down the cliff is not black, but clear. But when time went back to a certain point, a black-robed figure appeared on the cliff. He gently stepped into the water, the flesh began to shatter, and then the divine body cracked, the source collapsed, and the soul shattered, until it completely turned into black river water. The river poured back into the abyss. The life of the northern time and space also began to flourish. There are practitioners. Jian Wushuang was a little unbelievable when he saw this. They really have a creator. Black-robed figure? Who is it? The Realm King did not mention this matter, creating the black-robed figure in the northern time and space. Realm King? Obviously not. It should be the King of Gods. The backtracking continues. It wasn't until a point in time before he came here that he stopped. Because before he came, there was a figure in the water. Jian Wushuang grinds the space and time, and draws his sword instantly. Come out! He stared at the surface of the water and shouted angrily, "What's the point of hiding? Why don't you come out and fight me?" The surface of the water was turbulent, and his voice was drowned out, and there was no response for a long time. But when he went back in time, he clearly saw the figure, just in the water and wearing a mask. Impossible to go wrong. It didn't show up for so long. But before he came here, his face leaked. There is absolutely a problem. Maybe it was Zamasu's trick again. This time to kill the Cliff Lord, he felt a little strange. Moreover, the Realm King also felt that there were often crises in the northern time and space, and it was Zamas who had an eye in the northern time and space. Ukanshu. Calm otherwise, Jian Wushuang ran into trouble just after exiting the border. Retreat for so long, but there is nothing wrong. The most critical resurrection secret method is smooth and smooth. Improving the life level of time and space is also very smooth. Jian Wushuang's exit was not an important day, but he encountered the traitor, the Cliff Lord. Either Jian Wushuang is a calamity, or Zamasu has an unspeakable secret in the northern time and space. The latter is more accurate. A pair of eyes in the water, staring at Jian Wushuang, completely integrated with the water, Jian Wushuang could not find it at all. Jie was discovered. Strange voice as if talking to someone. After a while, a cold voice was heard. This voice Jian Wushuang is very familiar, it is Zamasu. Hey, it's nothing to lose the northern time and space, but the human race must die, so let's give them some hope first. This time he didn't shake his Dao heart, then prepare to meet the opponents on the Realm King continent. The figure in the water paused for a moment, and said in surprise, "It's already a certainty that you will become a realm god. At this time, you will take action against practitioners? I'm afraid? I'm not that stupid, and he's not worth my shot. Someone will take care of him. By the way, you can also condense your real body and follow me. There is no need to stay in the northern time and space. Call." In the water flow, the figure is excited. He could finally get out of this place. It was not worth the years to be arranged here by Zamasu, and today was his release. Zhuang continent, your king is back. The figures in the water slowly condensed. A burly body instantly condensed. The powerful force directly shook Jian Wushuang on the water bank back thousands of miles. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.